Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
Love sports.
Sports.
When it comes to Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
It's here. It's time. There's always a buzz in the air when you hit this moment.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
We will develop men. We will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
I think of him as this hawk. Before long, he's going to be swooping in on those quarterbacks.
And they embody what the school is about. It's about getting into hard situations and getting ourselves out. It's about working hard. It's about doing amazing things.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
Blackout tomorrow.
All right.
You ready for that? Will you wear black?
I don't even know. Probably not.
You don't think about it. You just go.
I don't. You know, I'll grab something out of the closet when it's time to go. I probably have on black jeans. I typically do.
Black undershirt.
Black undershirt. That's pretty typical of me.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just wear the black undershirt and black jeans and some black shoes and, you know.
Johnny Cash it?
Yeah, I'll Johnny Cash it. Put on my TexAgs issued black
hoodie?
Jacket.
Okay.
Or the hoodie. But the hoodie has white writing on it. The jacket has none.
Well, I mean, the A&M uniform will have white.
Yeah. All that said, I'll probably go in wearing all white. You know, who knows?
Or blue and orange.
So the team's going to wear black jerseys and black uniforms. Typically, the home team wears white.
Right.
So, okay.
They're going to black it out.
Black it out. All right.
So I was reading through Luke's 5 things about the game against Alabama.
Yeah.
And this was an interesting line from it because it's true. The margins in this league are a tenth of a second. Think about it. The end of the Bama game, the end of the Auburn game. Mm-hmm. It really came down to literally one team shooting their 3 and made it with what was it? A millisecond, right, left? That's why it didn't count. And then the other game, you know, a miraculous rebound back to Ryland to hopefully tie it and a miss. Comes down to those little seconds.
Yeah, it can. It can. I mean, that wasn't the case at Georgia.
No. There was a little stretcher that didn't come down to
South Carolina, you know, I mean, so it can. You know, even at Texas, even though A&M had a 9-point lead, it, you know, came down to having to hit a big free throw late to get some separation. Yeah.
Life in the SEC.
No one ever said it's supposed to be easy.
No. I like when it is easy.
Yeah, I enjoyed the Georgia game. You know, you can just kind of relax and enjoy.
I know there's people who prefer like a really good game. No, a good game to me is a blowout. If my team is doing the blowout, like that's the good game.
Yeah, I can get on board with that.
Yeah, I don't need a tight game. Like I'm past that.
If it's a good opponent. Like when I'm sitting there watching a football game and you're running up and down the field on Abilene Christian, just get it over with.
Right.
Right? But if it's a good opponent, like Georgia, who may be overvalued, but still a quality opponent, and you're when the game, unfortunately, we weren't watching it because of where we were, but the game that kind of startled me was when they beat Florida State the way they did.
Oh yeah, we were at the Texas game.
Yeah, and we're looking at it like, whoa, what's
they're up by
going on
18.
there? Yeah, so that that would have been one I'd really enjoyed. You know, but yeah, I can see that with David because, like when you're doing your Brazilian jiu-jitsu or whatever other martial art, and your hobby is to beat people up. When you get
I know my hobby is to get beat up. Have you seen my face recently?
When you get that victim down, you know, that's when you want to step on the throat.
Yeah. I prefer to use my forearm
it was
and
just
the carotid
kind of
artery and just
it was just kind of a
I see what you mean. Yeah,
just a word, you know, just
I've gotten some bumps and bruises this week, so
so somebody else was on you and wanted to step on your throat.
Somebody tried yesterday,
You get them down and you just want to...
You see this little mark right here? It's not good. Anyway, another part from Luke's.
Okay.
What I found interesting. They had been underdogs in 5 straight SEC road games. And I wonder when I feel like that could start shifting. I mean, obviously it's that.
It will.
But when you go on the road, you're typically going to be an underdog if you're not a ranked team. I think A&M should be a ranked team. But, in that stretch, they have, 3 quad one wins and losses down to the second in overtime to Tennessee in the Alabama game. Almost in overtime.
Yeah. What was the one? Was it South Carolina was a road game, right?
South Carolina was here. Yeah.
That's right. So who was it? It was Tennessee, Georgia, Tennessee, Georgia,
Texas,
Alabama, Texas. Okay. Texas and South Carolina had a pretty good game, and then Texas pulled away late.
Yep.
So yeah, I would not have been surprised that Auburn that they were underdogs.
Yeah, I didn't know this team. I wasn't familiar with their game as much as I am now.
Remember,
right?
it looked like Auburn was going to blow them out.
Yeah,
and then they had that crazy run and 8 points in 4 seconds? Yeah. I know it wasn't that, but it's something outrageous. 13 points. I don't know I can't remember what it was, but that crazy run. All of a sudden, you're look up, wait, there's a ball game.
Yeah,
and they took it from there.
Yeah, no, but at that point, I didn't know this team. Right, we'd seen a lot in the non-conference, but this is. If you go back to that Florida State game, which was an incredible win for them at the time, this is such a different team from that era of that time in this Aggie basketball season.
I wonder if that was when they started getting it.
Mm-hmm. The turning point, if you will.
If you will.
I will.
Okay.
I will play a game with you, Cole.
Because even though they've lost since then, every loss has been. Because wasn't the SMU game after that at Florida State?
I believe that was correct.
And you should have won that game.
Yeah.
Anytime you have a 4-point lead and the ball with 36 seconds to go, you should win. So
are we saying the last 3 losses have been right there for you?
Yeah.
Right there.
I think they probably win. Luke's talked about the 3-pointers late. I think they probably win if they just play smart basketball at the end of the first half. They didn't play smart basketball.
3 things we want to see brought to you by the Brazos Running Company. You want to see smart basketball.
Yeah. So I think you have to hit at least, and this is a tall order, Florida, I think you better hit at least 15 3-pointers.
Mm-hmm.
You are not going to win on the boards against Florida. I hope they can be respectable on the boards. I don't know what respectable is, but
don't miss shots. Less opportunities for boards.
Yeah, well, there's that. I want to see them force double figures in turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
The higher, the better, obviously. And let's see, what's the third thing I want to see them do? Make sure that you keep Florida to like they did against Alabama, even though they blew out Alabama, 3 3-pointers. They're not a great 3-point shooting team. So if I can hit 3-pointers,
and they don't,
and
you force turnovers,
then it kind of evens out all that.
And you don't have turnovers. Force turnovers, don't have turnovers. Hit threes, don't allow them to hit threes.
Well, they're pretty good at protecting the ball.
Yeah.
At A&M. Well, they have 6 in the last game. You'll take that every game. Right?
Heck yeah, you will.
And I think they had one other game where they had 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're good at taking care of the ball.
Here are my 3.
All right, I want to hear them.
The first one is 3 parts into one. It's called more of the same. Okay? It's, let's see, your tempo, your pace, your shots.
Play your game.
Just play your game.
All right.
I want to see it because against Florida.
You want to see Bucky ball.
I want to see Bucky ball. And I know we've seen Bucky ball all season long, but you're taking on a different type of opponent. And this is who's going to assert their will. Is it going to be the physical force of Florida? Is it going to be the physical fast pace of Texas A&M? So more of the same. Can we please, this is a question, force Florida into double-digit turnovers?
We're on the same page there.
I think that you do that, you're going to give yourself a chance at the end to win the game. Third thing I'm asking for is my guy from España. 5 threes. Just him.
Just from him.
5 threes.
Well, then that puts you on the pace to get those 15.
Yeah.
How are they going to get him open?
That's the question.
Because again, Alabama's face guarding everybody's. I would imagine. I don't know, but I would think everybody's going to look at that and say, "Hey, this is how you."
But here's where I think even if they do that, Florida's not going to hit the threes that Bama hits.
Yeah. Right. Well, we hope. We don't think so. They're not a very good three-point shooter. And Alabama might be. I mean, these guys did win the national championship, Florida, last year. Alabama might be more athletic in the on the perimeter defense than Florida is. I don't know. I haven't seen Florida this year.
Bama hit 16 threes to beat you by 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's a ridiculous number.
Yes, it is. It's almost unacceptable.
So if they hit 15, you're tied, right? If you don't give up the one at the half that you've talked about, right? If you hit...
They never should have been in a position to shoot that second one.
If you hit a free throw or 2 more in the first half.
They were 1 of 5.
Right? Then you don't have to miss free throws at the end.
Yeah, but I'm not going to be too hard on them about the free throws because they shot 80%.
Yeah, they were fine. But I'm just saying, like, that's how thin those margins are. My voice cracked. I'm a little kid. But that's how thin it is. And if you give up 1 less 3, I mean, what if you keep Florida, you're not going to keep them at bay on the boards. So just don't miss your shots.
Yeah, it's so easy.
Yeah, I mean, I wrote it out. Bucky, you can use me as a consultant. Hit every shot you can.
That was the game plan Villanova had. What was it, the 83 or 84 national championship game against Georgetown? When Georgetown was, with Patrick Ewing, was a prohibitive favorite, and then Villanova shot like 62% from the field. Might have been better than that. Would you look that up, Reese?
He just kind of gave you a look like, sure, I'll do some work for you, sir.
Who are you to tell me what to do?
Who are you to tell me to do research at the research desk? How dare you?
Yeah.
How dare you?
I don't work for you. I work for David.
In proxy, I work for OB.
Yeah, Villanova from the field shot 78%.
78?
From the field?
That's what it says.
I knew it was insane. I didn't realize it was that insane. Yeah, so that's the
recipe.
That's what you're looking for.
Yeah, do that.
Gary McLean, Dwayne McLean, or something like that.
This is TexAgs Live.
TexAgs Live. Brought to you by. Oh,
you tell me.
Presented.
You tell me.
You like presented or brought? I was going to say.
I think either way works.
Yeah, presented's a better word.
Okay.
Presented by David Gardner's Jewelers
in the
Rollo Insurance Studios.
Jason, Jackson,
Keith, Morgan,
and the boys
and girls. Whoever
there was actually a text yesterday that said one of the names. So if we find that, we're going to give her a shout out as well. All right. And let's see.
You know, Jason's wife was married to a East Texas high school football coach I used to do business with from time to time.
Is that right?
Yeah. Jim Bird. Down at Troop Tigers, Ed Jasper.
Okay.
Yeah.
We are, what's next? Oh, we're not there, but sometimes we hang out over there.
In the Holistic Planning Cool Zone.
And that area travels, right?
It travels.
It's got the aura.
Right.
This hour.
Because they'll go anywhere to help make you money.
Yeah. This hour's got a name. We call it the
Go Hour.
Presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. If you want to be a part of the conversation, 2 ways. One way is to call us on the
Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline.
979-693-1150. You can text that number as well, but when you text it, it becomes the Catalyst Pure Performance Energy
PPE
text line. 979
693-1150.
We go around the room, left to right. We say hi to Nick Savage. Nick, I want you to start finishing sentences for me. Can you be a part of that game?
Okay, I'll try.
All right. Welcome into TexAgs
Live.
Presented by
David Gardner Jewelers.
In the Rollo Insurance
Studio.
If you want to call us up, you can call us on the
Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline.
All right, this bit went long enough. How are you, buddy?
I'm good. Excited for tomorrow's game. I feel like it's going to be the environments at Reed have been great, but this one's going to be elite, I think. And that's, the team's going to need that. They're going to need the 12th man. OB's favorite blackout, and he loves the changing of the uniform. But I'm excited for that, and excited that we have a diamond sport back. I know Reese will probably give us a little bit more info, but Aggie softball's back. They took care of business last night. Maya Perez, I think, I know she hit 2 home runs, as well as one of the Oklahoma State transfers. So team looks good. They did what they needed to do against teams that they should beat.
Thank you very much, Nick. Appreciate you. Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Reese Nygren, Give us more on that softball, that pair of softball games.
Yeah, Texas A&M softball started off their 2026 campaign with a pair of wins at Davis Diamond, defeating Abilene Christian 8-0 in 6 innings, and then knocking off the Aggies of Utah State 9-1 in 5 innings. Maya Perez picked up right where she left off in the 2025 campaign, going 4 for 6 with 2 homers and 4 RBIs. Coach Ford's pitching staff dominated in the circle as well, giving up just 1 run, 3 hits, and striking out 19 batters across 11 innings while only using 3 pitchers. The Maroon and White will return to action this afternoon, where they will host the Providence Friars at 4:30 at Davis Diamond. A&M will also welcome the #1 Texas Tech Red Raiders on Saturday at 4:30 before concluding the Aggie Classic against the Friars on Sunday.
What else, Mr. Nygren?
Former Texas A&M superstar pass rusher Myles Garrett added a second Defensive Player of the Year award to his trophy case last night. The 30-year-old edge rusher set the NFL single-season sack record, logging 33 sacks, which is a half of a sack more than the previous record shared by T.J. Watt and Michael Strahan. Garrett is just the 9th player in NFL history to win multiple Defensive Players of the Year and now holds the record for the most career sacks before turning 31 with 125.5, which surpassed Reggie White's number of 108.
Wow. Pretty incredible. I remember when J.J. Watt, I believe it was 20.5 sacks, he had back-to-back years, or it might have been 2 out of 3 years. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, like that, and Myles has even eclipsed that.
Yeah, and nobody just laid down to give him a sack like they did for Michael Strahan.
Oh, this is true. This is true. Your good friend, Brett Favre.
Yeah, just laid down. I mean, yeah, it wasn't even real.
They made a whole documentary on that about the guy who used to own the sack record.
He was upset, right?
Yeah, he was like super mad at
Was it
Brett
Warren
Favre.
Sapp?
No, it
I remember Warren
he was
Sapp
from the
was
Jet.
upset.
He was on the Jets, but he was super.
Gastineau?
Yeah, he was.
Mark Gastineau, that's
yeah,
right,
he was
yeah.
super mad at Brett Favre for apparently falling down to give Strahan the record.
How do you feel about old guys getting mad about records being broken?
Well, I mean, I don't think they're getting mad if your record's broken, but if it's broken because, like, all right, what if when Hank Aaron broke Babe Ruth's record, what if it had been because he knew the pitch?
Right.
Hey, we're going to throw this one right down. Yeah.
Sure.
Doesn't that taint it?
Sure.
I mean, if you win it, if you break it organically, then hey, great job, you know.
But you know, like the 72 Dolphins, they get together and they can't. They have champagne parties when teams lose. Like
Yeah,
that could
and you know what's
record.
funny about that? The NFL had a different way of schedules then. Just a computer spit it out. Now you had your teams. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, they played like one team with a winning record that year.
Oh, is that right?
I might be exaggerating just a
And it
little
was
bit.
12 games regular
14.
season? 14.
It was a very. It's the NFL, so it's not. But based on records of teams that year, it was a very advantageous. They were no doubt they're the best team in the league. They won the Super Bowl, but yeah.
Wait, the Super Bowl? Is that a thing?
Well, it used to be.
Yeah.
Now it's the Super Bowl.
Who's the best team you've ever watched play?
The best
NFL. For me, it's the 85 Bears.
Best defense,
Yeah.
surely. The best team. Call me provincial. I'm not so sure it wasn't the
Patriots?
92 Cowboys.
Oh, 92. Okay. You know what? I'm okay with that.
I mean, look what they did in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And you know, they beat the Niners team that was dominant at their place.
Yeah.
So
you know what? You're probably right. You're probably right.
But some of those Steelers teams were amazing. But yeah, I mean,
Would you put that 85 Bears in? Again, I was a kid. I was in 3rd grade. That to me, Jim McMahon is not Troy Aikman, right? Like, but sweetness.
But
Willie Gault.
But it was Walter Payton, still great, but at the end, toward the end of his career.
The fridge? Come on. Can we hear the Super Bowl
His own
shuffle?
defensive coordinator said he was a wasted draft pick.
Yeah.
But the defense was
not
incredible.
Buddy Ryan.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, it was Buddy Ryan.
But the defense was incredible.
Yeah.
You know, with Dan Hampton, Steve McMichael, Richard Dent, Dave Duerson, man, Wilbur Marshall. That defense was loaded.
That's right, Wilbur Marshall. That's right.
Man, they were loaded. I'm forgetting some obvious ones. It's been a while.
Well, when we come back, maybe the folks at Brian Broadcasting can come back with the Super Bowl Shuffle. One of the greatest raps of all time. Have you ever heard of the Super Bowl Shuffle? We're just here to cause no trouble.
Yeah,
we're just here to do the Super Bowl Shuffle. Come on. Yeah. Those lyrics? That's like Nas, Eric B. and Rakim. Am I right?
If you say so.
Cannabis. Like this is
what?
The lyricist Cannabis.
Oh, I thought it was. We got a new sponsor.
Yeah, KRS-One.
We got so many. And after you've had that sponsor, Cannabis, and you get really hungry, if it's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, the place goes high. Tell it towards Snook over on the left. To 1775 barbecue.
I can guarantee they don't sell cannabis there, but the best meats.
But if you have some munchies and you want to munch on some ribs, some amazing ribs, or some of that jalapeno pork sausage, and then of course the brisket, the succulent brisket, and even some pulled pork or turkey, and I like the queso mac and cheese.
Yeah,
it's all there. That'd be a high time down there.
Yeah, check it out. 1775txbbq.com is the website. The phone number, 979-492-6241. It is 1775.
And it's good.
I wish I had Olin here for it because he loves energy drinks. Catalyst Citrus Spark. This is one of the new flavors out there. Whether you're grinding through workouts, cramming for a test, or closing in on a deal, or getting ready for TexAgs Live, you never know, right? Fast becoming the go-to fuel for Aggies everywhere. Zero sugar, I'm all in for that. Or synthetic sweeteners, no artificial colors or flavors. Catalyst delivers clean, high-performance energy with smooth, crisp taste that is never syrupy, designed for both health and hustle. You want to get going? You use this Catalyst right here. It's about pure energy and pure results. And what sets them apart? Packed with premium nootropics blended to boost focus, clarity, and mental stamina. I need this. I'm in, guys. I'm in. Plus, with plant-based caffeine, vitamin B12, B6, Catalyst supports metabolism and energy production, making it more than a drink. It's your lifestyle training partner. Built for competitors on the field, Catalyst fuels strength, focus, and pure results. Buy now at drinkcatalyst.com. That is drinkcatalyst.com. Train harder. Think sharper, pure results. It's Catalyst.
Keep this going for a little bit. Shuffling crew. To do it with you.
You look like Woody on the Cheers when Sam was doing a rap.
Yeah.
And he said, "I've got a groin injury, a groin injury." By the way, Jeff Tipton.
Yeah.
A great TexAgger who's always listening. He texted me to say, "You forgot Mike Singletary."
Michael Singletary.
Greatest Baylor player ever. Samurai Mike.
Samurai Mike. Hold on. Can I hear this lyric? I don't know if the YouTube audience can hear it, so it's probably a waste of time.
I saw that team play, by the way. I was covering the Cowboys, and they came to Texas Stadium and just mauled the Cowboys.
Let's see how much Reese Nygren knows. That Bears team lost one game that year. I believe they went 15-1 in the regular season. And do you know who they lost to?
I have no idea who
If you had to take a guess, who did they lose to?
Probably the Pittsburgh Steelers.
No.
If you had to take a guess again after what we talked about in the first segment, who do you think they lost to?
The Dallas Cowboys.
No. If you had to take a guess about something we talked about in the first segment, and there was a celebration when they lost.
The Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
Correct. On Monday Night Football.
Mark Duper, Mark Clayton, yeah.
I remember watching that game.
The story I heard, I think I heard it was John McClain telling it on the radio in Nashville, was that Buddy Ryan was playing man coverage, and the strength of the Dolphins, they had Clayton and Duper. They were so fast, and they were just faster than corners, and they were getting big plays. And the way John McClain told it was that when they were leaving the field for halftime, Ditka went up to Buddy Ryan and said, "If you play man coverage again, I'm going to kick your ass." Mm-hmm. And Ryan knew he would because he was so pissed. So they didn't play. They played zone in the second half. I can see that happening because they didn't like each other anyway.
No, they didn't. Well, Buddy Ryan didn't like anybody.
Right. I mean, who else would throw a punch on the sideline at another?
That's why I like Buddy Ryan so much. I love him. I love when Buddy Ryan was the defensive coordinator for the Oilers. Okay?
Yeah.
That's I think the best Oilers team I ever saw I know there were better Oilers teams, but that I was cognizant of. That defense was fantastic. Do you remember who they lost to in the playoffs? Because they lost 3 straight years in dramatic fashion.
Oh, those years? Well, I remember they lost to the Bills.
They lost to the Bills, but they lost to the Steelers one year in a comeback. They lost to the Bills in a comeback, and they lost to the Kansas City Chiefs in a comeback with Joe Montana's first year at Kansas City.
At least they were consistent.
Yeah, they were. I think it was Lake Dawson who beat them.
Lake Dawson from, I believe
it was.
Was he a Notre Dame receiver, Lake Dawson? I think he's from Notre Dame.
Yeah. By the way, shout out to Royce Hickman who brought me this awesome coffee mug from Another Broken Egg.
Royce is such a good guy.
Coffee, you're not a coffee guy. Coffee is better in a mug than in paper and even a Yeti. And I love Yetis, but this is the way you drink coffee.
Yeah, if you say so.
I'm going to say so.
I tell you what, the wife loves those cups. And so, like every Christmas, I stick one in her stocking, one of those cups.
Oh, yeah?
So she has like almost more of those cups than Another Broken Egg has.
Is that right?
Yeah, she has like every color.
So, hey, this is TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio. OB, just so we can close out this segment about the Super Bowl, because I got some big football thing or big college sports things in the next segment to get into. When I made the comment earlier about feels like kind of a quiet Super Bowl, I know there's some political reasons out there, but that's not what I'm getting at. I just think this is not a sexy matchup, and I don't think there are sexy names. Sexy is the wrong word. There's not any names in people hated the Chiefs the last couple of years. So when they're in Patrick Mahomes, Kelsey, I'm talking about for the casuals. Okay, that becomes a storyline. I think diehard football fans are probably excited about this game. The Patriots just don't seem like, even though they had such a great season, don't seem like a Super Bowl team to me.
No.
Yeah, I think
if C.J. Stroud doesn't turn the ball over 34 times in a quarter, I don't know if the Texans would be here either, but the Patriots got the benefit of a bad C.J. Stroud and a no quarterback Denver Broncos.
Okay.
I'm not saying they shouldn't be there. I'm saying that's part of I don't think there's a lot of intrigue with them this year.
Maybe, but what matchup would have been so sexy that you think everybody would be into it instead of this year where it's just kind of sneaking up on you? And I do think
Cowboys-Rams? Well, that would be impossible.
It's impossible, yeah. I do think, and we're not going to talk about this, but
I think the Bills would have been a very attractive.
Because you have Josh Allen, who's a big
against.
Let's see, against Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, I would say probably the Rams, because Matthew Stafford won MVP last night, so you could market it as MVP versus last year's MVP, Allen versus Stafford. Where this year you have Sam Darnold against Drake May, which, no offense to either one of those guys, they're not big names,
yet,
at least not yet.
And yet great stories. On both
they are great stories.
They are great stories.
Brock Purdy a couple years ago. That was a great story.
Yeah.
It might end up being a great game. I don't think it's going to be a good game. I think Seattle's going to run away with it.
They may. And yet, we're talking about it's not a marquee matchup. It's the Patriots. And I know it's not Tom Brady's Patriots, but it's the Patriots.
We saw this matchup, I guess, whatever.
Yeah, but
11 years ago.
But there's been rematches frequently, and sometimes the very next year. Cowboys and Bills, back to back. So that's not that unusual, especially when you get into what is this in 56 or something like that?
60.
60?
Yeah.
So when you get into 60 and they have 32, you're probably going to have rematch. I don't think that's it. And I do believe that, and I'll just make the statement without adding to it. I do think the NFL has done a bad job in alienating a lot of its hardcore fans.
Sam on the YouTube page, who's a Texas fan who's been listening recently.
Okay.
He took I wouldn't say call it a shot at Myles Garrett, but he wanted to point out, because of course a Longhorn would, that Myles did it in one extra game to break the record.
Okay.
But then we had, who did this? Somebody pointed out that he did it in just 467
fewer snaps.
Yeah.
Yeah, because...
But of course, we can't point that out. You have to point out the games.
There was times when, if things changed. It used to be that players played like every snap, the Deacon Jones years, right?
Yep.
And they're going way back. You played the whole game. It's just kind of like in pitchers. Baseball pitchers used to pitch 9 innings if they didn't get rocked, right? And now your starters get them out after 5. So things change.
Well, so we had Richard in studio the other day, and he was wearing his Clayton Kershaw 3,000 strikeout hat. Mm-hmm. And Clayton Kershaw, just of this era, the guy, right? And pitching-wise, of this era, just retired. But I pointed out that Nolan Ryan almost had 6,000 strikeouts in just about the same amount of seasons, right? It just they were built differently. They did different. It was a different era.
By the way, what's the guy's name that was questioning about Myles?
Oh, he wasn't questioning. He was just saying it took him an extra game.
But who is it?
His name is Sam.
So Sam is probably still pissed off that, if he had been alive, and maybe he's a historian, that they recognized Roger Maris for breaking Babe Ruth's record in 162 games instead of 154.
Yeah, we got to bring that up every time. Every single time.
I mean, you play.
Hey, it's just a fact, man. I just want to tell you a fact.
Well, and just the fact that he did it in fewer snaps.
Yeah.
And like I said, nobody laid down for him.
No, this is a good point. Hey, let's talk a little Caldwell Country Chevrolet, Highway 21 in Caldwell, online at caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. If you're a business owner ready to take your operation to the next level and you need a fleet of vehicles, you should check out Caldwell Country Chevrolet. They got the great pricing, the great selection, and of course, the great people. When you go there, you're going to find the right price point for you. You can compare it to all the other lots around town, but this is the place to go where you get it all. Customer service, good pricing, good people. Remember, it's about a 15-minute drive, the very edge of Bryant to the beginnings of Caldwell. A short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with the great people at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, caldwellcountrychevrolet.com.
Hey friends, David Nuño here for Prize Picks. They're back on TexAgs, prizepicks.com/TexAgs. Use the code TexAgs to get $50 once you play in $5 lineups. And Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Football season's here, basketball coming up, baseball, you name it. You go to prizepicks.com/TexAgs and start having some fun watching sports, making some money on there. And you can play Prize Picks in over 40 states, including California and Texas. Remember, they'll give you $50 in lineups once you play $5 lineups on Prize Picks. And they have the new thing. It's called It's Good to Be Right campaign, and they're kicking off the upcoming NFL season with their bold new campaign, It's Good to Be Right. The seasonal long push celebrates the thrills of getting it right, from the perfect prediction to winning your Prize Picks lineups. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. When I hear this song, come on, for show. This is maybe the best Super Bowl halftime performance ever. Maybe.
I would
maybe
have.
not.
Who is it?
My friends from NWA. That's actually Dr. Dre. And Snoop Dogg.
Actually, I would say, and I'm not even a fan of hers, but I would say probably Lady Gaga.
I was there for that one. That
Prince
was pretty good.
Pretty awesome.
Prince was great. Prince was great. Yes.
Stones.
Which was the one that it rained?
That was
one that rained.
That was Prince.
Was it Prince?
It started raining as he was singing
Purple Rain.
Was it purple?
I don't think so.
I saw somewhere it's been since Shania Twain in like 2004, maybe. I don't know what year it was. You can fact check me. That there hasn't been a country artist performing at the halftime show.
Yeah.
They got to fix that.
I barely believe that Shania qualified.
Was it Shania?
And besides, you know what?
Yeah, Shania Twain in 2003.
If you're gonna get American acts,
well,
she's Canadian.
I thought Morgan Wallen would have been a good one this year.
Yeah, if you were going to go the country route, he would have.
But I think he crosses genres.
Is he
Yeah,
Canadian?
he does.
No, he's a Nashvilleian.
The damn right.
Actually, I think he's from Georgia, but he lives in
That
Nashville.
works. Georgia's the United States.
Is it?
Yeah.
I was thinking about
Unless
Russia.
you're talking about Georgia. Yeah, that Georgia.
TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Go Hour, presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. OB.
Yeah.
Today could be a huge day for the future of college athletics. Could
be, yeah. It really could.
If Bediaco, and I know Billy gets annoyed when I say it like an Italian. How do we know he's not Italian? Do we know?
I think we know that.
How do we know? Have you Googled? You're just guessing. Bediaco. Okay, Bediaco.
Don't the Italians' last names usually end with I? I'm not saying that they can't end with O.
Bediaco.
Like Mario Puzo, who wrote The Godfather.
The Godfather.
Bediaco's born in Chicago, raised in Canada.
But where are his ancestors from?
Ghana.
Okay, so not Italian. All right, I was wrong. Bediaco. Anyway, the Bediaco situation.
Yeah.
How do you say it?
Bediaco.
That's how I say it.
Bediaco. That's how you say it.
Anyway, if they decide to allow him to play,
Yeah.
okay, and say because the hearing's today.
Yeah.
It will alter what college athletics, student athletes look like for the rest of time.
Yeah.
The NCAA, which already feels powerless, will have been completely handcuffed to ever make
Emasculated.
There you go. Better term.
Castrated.
There you go. One more. Humiliated.
What do they call it when a dog? I don't know. Neutered.
Neutered.
The NCAA will
Spayed.
For the women's sports. So yeah, and I find it interesting that even Greg Sankey, who's sometimes seems to be a big supporter of the Alabama Crimson Tide,
He's against it too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's great. Like, and I know it was interesting. Pate actually responded. So the attorney for Bediaco said, he was against Sankey. Of course, he came out and Pate was like, "You're just trying to support your business, man."
Right.
Like, the bottom line is, if this is allowed, college football becomes the CFL and arena football. It becomes a minor league.
It's a G League.
Yeah.
You can go back and forth, obviously. Like the guy that actually played 10 games in the NBA wants to play for it. Now he's
Amari Bailey wants to go to Grand Canyon University.
Yeah.
He's taking a visit this weekend.
Why is only a school like Grand Canyon University? Like, you would think a guy who played G League and NBA would have an opportunity to go to a bigger school.
You would think. I mean, he went to UCLA when he was in college.
Maybe he likes Flagstaff.
But he wants to play next year.
Cooper just made a great point, because if they were that good, they would still be in the NBA or G
that's
League,
the point.
right?
The point. Now that you can get paid in colleges, is like, hey, I'm not making money in the NBA. I'm not that good, so I'm going to come back to college and make more money.
Yeah.
Amari Bailey wasn't good in college either. He was one of those guys who had made up their mind they were going to be one and done regardless of what happened, and he was not good at all.
And again, if you do that, I'm assuming anybody that had eligibility, what are the limitations for eligibility? Does the NCAA or does college sports get to decide what their eligibility requirements are?
Right.
Because maybe Alabama wants, they can't run the football last year, and I don't know why they'd be considered any better. They tried to bring in a guy to running back, Hollywood Smothers.
Yep.
And lost him to Texas, so they need a running back. And they're like, hey, Derrick Henry, you left early.
Why not?
Come on back. We'll pay you a couple of million.
Yeah,
Myles Garrett.
Aggies need a...
Well, now that you mention it like that, it may take him an extra game to get the Aggies into the national championship. That's fine.
Hey, I'll take it.
So, did Vaughn leave early?
Vaughn left as a junior, right?
Believe so.
I believe he left as a junior.
I mean, I know he's old, but if you want to bring him in there against a college tackle for a few plays.
And this came up earlier in the week, like, why do we care? I care because it's supposed to be a student athlete. You're supposed to be taking classes. and not have, I call it graduating. It's not graduating to the next level of your career. Once you pass a certain threshold, you can't come back.
I'm with you.
I cannot go play club soccer with my daughter.
It's like the doctor in Field of Dreams. Once you step over that line, you're no longer a player. Now you're just an old man that might save a kid. And if you do, applause. But you're old man and you can't go back.
Look, and there are options, more options today to play.
Does anybody have any idea what Field of Dreams is?
Of course. Oh, does he? I thought you meant me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
if you build it, they will come.
Oh, well, it's just that most of you young guys never saw a movie. Okay.
You actually saw it or you just
I've seen it. No, I've seen it.
Respect, Reese.
Respect.
I have respect. For you.
Have you seen it For the Love of the Game?
I have respect for Reese.
I have not seen For the Love of the Game.
Okay. That's a good one, too.
Kevin Costner.
Okay.
Kevin Costner makes great movies.
Reese
The Bodyguard.
Huh?
We're calling everybody Italian today. Reese
Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner.
Anyway, let's hope that there's some smart, because this, again.
Wait. You're talking about smart people?
Yeah, but that's the problem.
The guys that wanted to give their business and put it in the hands of Congress?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of smart people in the room.
The world that we live in today, and I think I did this the other day off air, I wouldn't do it on air, of all the things that are talking points today in today's world, beyond the world of sports.
Okay.
We're not. Because
I'm not going to say anything.
I don't want to get a phone call. But there's so many idiotic things that are a thing now that people are just like, yeah, why not? What do you mean? What do you mean you can't play pro and go back? What do you mean?
You're preaching to the choir here. Yeah, there's a lot of crazy crap out there where people think that, if it makes, it's going to hurt my feelings if I can't do this or I can't do that. Well,
your feelings.
Your feelings are going to be hurt. I don't care. So, and there's enablers out there, and Nate Oates is an enabler. And this never should have gotten off but again, it's the way, big problem we have in the world today, and a lot of the things that are going on, especially in our country, is all you have to do is find a sympathetic judge
in your neighborhood,
and they can break the rules.
Technically, if we're at it, Johnny Manziel did not have a very illustrious NFL career.
Yeah.
If he wanted to come back,
he left early.
I'm just saying, under that, which I think is ridiculous.
Yeah, because he probably couldn't play very well now.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I think he'd probably suck now.
I mean,
one Tommy Moffitt offseason can change that.
One Tommy Moffitt offseason?
Yeah. I think even Tommy can't perform that miracle.
Let a brother dream. Beniaco. How would I say Olin Buchanan in Italian? Olin Buchanan.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. But for now on.
You made an Irish guy sound Italian. I'm like the Irishman in that movie, The
Irishman?
Yeah, The Irishman.
I haven't seen that one, actually.
It's actually pretty good.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. I have a hard time watching,
David Nuño.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. From Sicily.
Yeah, I need to visit there. It looks very beautiful. I think I'm going to go there soon.
This is definitely a Friday show.
Of course it is.
Yeah, it's always off the rails. Why don't you help me?
They got any Italians on the Florida roster?
Give me a name, I'll say it. Come on.
I don't even know how to say this name. Ruben
Chinyelu.
Chinyelu. He's from Nigeria.
Help me out with Milliken Reserve.
Okay,
right?
Sure.
Farm to Table Community and College Station.
Farm to Table.
They build a healthy community around nature.
Natura.
2,600 acres of open space.
Open spaces.
You're losing it. 30 miles of trails and homes.
30 miles.
Hiking, biking. I quit.
He quit.
You were so stupid.
Stupido.
MillikenReserve.com. All right, we've stopped laughing and being ridiculous. Well, we've still got 2 minutes to be ridiculous. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. The Go Hour, presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. It is time for Bank on It, presented by Vera Bank, authentic relationship-based banking built for real life. Go see Joel Jackson and the team. Learn more at verabank.com. All right, Olin.
Yeah.
What are you banking on?
Look, I don't know who's going to win. I think Florida is probably going to win, even though these guys at A&M, I'd never discount them. But I'm going to bank on this game getting into the last automatic timeout 4 minutes ago, and it being a close game. And so we'll see what happens at the end.
Yep.
Just like the Alabama game, it was up for grabs at the end.
I don't know if my heart can take that again, unless they win, right? But I'm banking on Marcus Hill, third straight game, having double digits, but not just double digits. Third straight game in the teens.
Okay.
So at least 13 or more.
And how about Ruben? I'm banking on Ruben Dominguez scoring more points than he did in his last game.
God, I hope so.
Because he had one.
But you know what the problem? It's our fault. We've been banking on him for weeks. Maybe we shouldn't.
Close the bank?
Yeah.
No, I think Ruben is too good a player that eventually he's going to break out in a big way. Maybe you said 5 3-pointers.
That's what I want to see.
That's what we all want to see.
5 3-pointers, a couple other buckets, a free throw, 21
15
points.
15 3-pointers from these Aggies. 15. That'd be 45 points right there.
If the Aggies hit 15 threes, is that enough to beat Florida?
I don't know. I mean, defending national championships, and they look really good.
So 15 threes, double-digit turnovers.
Sounded good.
Sounded pretty good.
It's what it's going to take.
Yeah. Obi, thank you, buddy.
Schroeder Evangelist.
Hey, Olin Buchanan.
Ciao.
Rich Nigren. Nick Savage, anyone?
Is Billy Liucci on today?
That's a real one, though. How would we say Nick Savage?
Nick of Sewage.
Oh, my gosh. It's a wild Friday here on TexAgs Live. When we come back, we're going to class up the joint with Luke Evangelist.
Luca Evangelista.
Cat Bentz. Now, that guy,
yeah.
He's the real deal. We'll get off to that next on TexAgs Live. Welcome in, everybody. It is TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio.
Hello, friends.
Where were you, Luke Evangelist?
Driving. Traffic was unexpected.
What time did you leave your... Well, don't you live, like, in the neighborhood?
No.
You live close, though, right?
I live over by HEB.
Oh, like 4 minutes away? So you left at...
Potentially 7.
Did you do a Billy schedule?
Aren't we here? Let's talk some basketball.
Actually,
Billy's still probably having breakfast. So.
Coach Henry alerted me that this was coming down, or that something could be coming down. I just want to read this real quick. USA Track and Field announced a partnership with A&M in the city of College Station Friday to bring its Summer World Athletics Continental Tour gold-labeled meet to E.B. Cushing Stadium on the university campus on June 6. It is the Lone Star Grand Prix Award, more than $200,000 in prize money to athletes competing in track events ranging from the 100-meter, 800. It's going to be on NBC and Cushing Stadium. Yeah. This is great. So congratulations to A&M. Coach Henry says it's an honor to be selected to host this prestigious event, and amazing opportunity for the institution to be part of history. Big moment for the city of College Station. Tickets for the Lone Star Grand Prix available soon. More information at USATF. Visit the website, usatf.org. Reese, if you can find more info on this, so we can just do that maybe on TexAgs today, so we have a little bit of that. But congratulations, Coach Henry. Cool event. All right, we transition.
As a local businessman and a former chairman of the Chamber of Commerce, thank you, Coach Henry.
You were the former chairman? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was years ago.
Dude, you knew everything.
Years ago. When you got kids and you have all this time, which you don't have.
Yeah.
My wife was president of Junior League. I was Chamber of Commerce, president of Texas Restaurant
You're pretty busy
Association.
right now, right?
Yeah, I travel. I was in 90 miles to the west this past week. And
but you were here 10 minutes early. Huh.
Oh, well, I'm used to getting up at 6 a.m.
Yeah. Luke, hello.
Hello.
How are we feeling? So I read, you were awake, you were sleeping. I gave your most recent story props in the first segment. Anyway, I went through a couple of things. So I thought you had some really good thoughts on the game. How are we feeling about Aggie basketball today after a loss with the biggest home game in a while tomorrow?
Well, feel great about the direction of the team. It's a road loss against a team that desperately needed a win. Not going to fault A&M for not finishing the deal there, and there were other circumstances working against them as well.
Okay, we don't need to overdo that.
No, I'm talking about like back-to-back road trips. I'm not talking about like in the game. I'm just saying like there are scheduled dynamics adding up for A&M right now of back-to-back road trips, and then Florida had a week to prepare. I'm just saying like they were the team playing back-to-back road games at Alabama, 2 games that were super high-paced, a bunch of possessions, a bunch of running up and down, and now they have to play a team that couldn't be more opposite of that, and they had a week to prepare. So schedule dynamics-wise, don't like it for A&M. Matchup-wise, don't like it for A&M. But stranger things have happened in terms of blackout games at Reed Arena. It always seems like there's a top 20 win. And so we've seen what A&M does. They're able to hold their own against a team like Tennessee that is probably the most similar to Florida in the conference, where they don't shoot it well, but they'll rebound. A&M held their own by dominating the turnover margin and making 15 threes. And so they're going to need to do something similar against Florida, or else they really have no chance with. I just don't see any Florida possession ending with anything other than an offensive rebound and a putback if A&M's not able to find some way to neutralize the defensive glass.
You mentioned the blackout and things happen. I mean, the women may have set the tone a little bit. Had the number 2 team in the country down 4 with 8 minutes left. Best game they played in quite some time. So, and the students came out. They love it too. I mean, and so it's a lot of fun. But you're right. To me, looking back at that game and the other night, I think Olin touched on it. That play, where they just kind of tossed that ball up in the air and that high arcing shot, and then the 3-point play in the half, I think was pretty much. They had the game, I felt, in hand there, and that just kind of gave, Alabama just that little bit of momentum.
Yeah, I look back at that game, and I think to myself, just one parameter goes different, right? You normally force 15 turnovers a game. You only force 6. So let's just say you force 8. What does that do to that game? You gave up 16 threes. You hit 13. Was it 13 that A&M hit?
Yeah.
Right? So you typically win who hits the most 3-point shots, right? If 1 3 for Alabama goes different. But when there's too many ifs, you lose the argument. But my point being is there was a lot of things that were favoring Alabama if you look at those numbers.
Absolutely. And like I said, like the schedule was favoring them. The three-point shooting was favoring them. They did take 15 more attempts, which you knew there were going to be a ton of attempts from three, but A&M shot the higher percentage from three. They just didn't make the last one. That would have sent the game to OT. But they had their looks. Jakari Lane had an open three with like a minute left. They had their chances. But ultimately, you covered on the road in a game where Alabama clearly needed it more than anybody. And so there are a lot of positives, I think, to take away from that. It's just, how can this team weather adversity? They've done it before. Anytime they lose, they seem to go on a winning streak. So going to have to do it again.
And let's also look at the fact they spoil us. We got used to them making almost all their free throws.
Right.
You know, and so they had a normal free throw shooting game.
They shot 80% from the line.
Yeah.
Right.
But we were accustomed to closer to 90.
Yeah.
Right. You know, they spoiled us, as I said. And so, you know, they make a couple, you know, you can go back and say that. But again, you're going on the road in the SEC. And I think you asked us a couple of weeks when we were going into this thing, you know, who would you rather play? And I said a team opposite, because I felt like in that first half that some of the things I said, I think their speed shocked A&M early.
Yeah.
You know, because A&M is used to going, okay, we're fast. And it happens sometimes when you play these teams and all of a sudden you go, whew, they're just as fast, if not. Because where do you practice or play against something like that? So I felt like it took A&M a little while to get accustomed to Alabama speed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was just going to agree with that. Like Georgia was playing at the same speed, but they weren't making anything in transition. They were missing all their threes and missing at the rim. And Alabama will make you pay in transition, and Florida will as well. So that's another thing that you've kind of seen A&M's transition defense break down a little bit in the last game. That is just another area that, all right, it's time to improve on that, and you've got another big test, and they thankfully get another game immediately to right their wrongs on that.
And I also, again, I'm not trying to pick on one person, but I know Rubin, they did a great job of denying Rubin the ball, but I thought they take advantage of him defensively off the dribble a whole lot too, where they took him off so forcing other people to come over and opening up a lot of looks for him.
Will Florida do the same thing?
Imagine.
I mean, yeah, Florida, there's a real matchup problem here where Florida's going to be playing at minimum three guys at all times that are 6'8" or taller, and they're big. And all three-level scorers, there's 3 NBA players on that team. And so you're already asking a lot of Ruben Dominguez to guard at the 4, and he's had problems with guys that are his size. And so now you throw in the best front court in the country. They're going to need to do some things different defensively to hide Ruben. Maybe that means you play Rylan at the 4 more, or you just see a lot more 2 big lineups where Jamie Vincent now is going to be asked to play 15 minutes a game.
Yeah.
And Zach Clements plays more. They're going to have to be bigger because Florida, I mean, worrying about how to score on them is one thing, but if Florida got 72 points in the paint on Alabama, they might have no need to take a single 3 tomorrow if they can just bully A&M in the paint. So there's got to be some lineup.
Bama didn't hit a lot of threes against them, right?
No, Bama did.
Oh, they did.
Bama hit 15 threes on them, and they lost.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's because Bama had they couldn't get anything inside. They couldn't drive on Alabama or on Florida, so they just had to jack up a bunch of threes. But they made them, and they still lost by 23 because Florida, every single possession was just back you down in the paint. If I didn't score on the original shot, I'm going to get a putback. And so that is a real concern. For me, this game is I don't see A&M stopping Florida inside, and I don't see them neutralizing the defensive glass. And if they do, it's going to have to be a lot of 2 big lineups, which is not what their strong suit is because now you're keeping your best offensive players off the floor. But the offense won't even matter if they can't even get the ball to start on offense. So there are a lot of tactical questions that Bucky McMillan's going to have to answer strategically in this game of how do you neutralize Florida? Do we just sell out and play to our strengths and hope you make every 3 you shoot? Or do you play more Jamie Vincent and more Federico and try and just neutralize them some on the glass?
I think you play to your strengths.
That's what I was going to say, and I think that's what Bucky's always said. It's not that they don't scout and worry about the other teams, but it's what are we going to do to continue to do what we do?
If you play Florida's brand of basketball, you have no chance of winning. If you force Florida to play your brand of basketball, it's still a tough task. but you have, I think, a fighter's chance. And if you force double-digit turnovers and you hit your 15 threes, now we're talking about a recipe to keep yourself in the game, and who knows at the end.
Yeah, that's ultimately the recipe for success. We talk about the margins that A&M has to exploit. If there was ever a game they have to be at an A+ in all of them, it's this one. And they also need a favorable whistle. Like, there's no secret about it. A&M has to go to the line more than Florida, and their offensive strategy can't just be live and die by the three. You have to go inside and get Nuño in foul trouble. You have to go get Thomas Hout in foul trouble because Florida's not deep. They have plenty of size on their roster, but I would rather see that inexperienced size than a National Defensive Player of the Year candidate, a first-team All-SEC candidate, and the best front court in the country. So A&M has to be determined. This is a game where a guy like Marcus Hill has to continue to get to the free throw line and get downhill. Ali Deba needs to get downhill. A&M has to, like, the immediate offensive strategy needs to be making threes in transition, and then A&M has to get downhill, drive past their defenders, and you got to get Florida in foul trouble. There is no world where I want to see Nuño and Hout and hand logged in all in the game in the final 5 minutes. You have to make Todd Golden make some tough decisions.
So I'm going to be on pace guy. The other day, maybe yesterday, we had the Social Center look it up. At this point last year, A&M had 6 conference wins. Okay? Yeah. A&M this year is ahead of that. And last year, there was a stretch where they lost 4 games in a row.
Yeah.
A&M has not had a, now, could it happen here? I hope not. But like, my point being is, if we look at last year as a very successful season, and it's never as successful as you want when you lose the way they lost.
Well, it's fair to say, like, the regular season was a top 5 regular season in program history. Like, that's totally fair.
And I don't know if this team is destined for that or not. But if we're going to be on pace, guy, regardless of what happens this weekend, it's still right in front of them.
Yeah, and, I mean, they have a favorable end to their schedule. Like, you look at what they have on the back half with just after they go to Vanderbilt. I mean, it's not crazy to say they win 5 out of their last 6 games. Like, I could see that, a world where that happens. They're probably going to be favored in 5 of their final 6 outside of that trip to Bud Walton. But that's, I mean, I don't count wins before they happen, but that's 4 wins on the back 6 games that you feel like A&M has a really good chance and will probably be at least an 8.5-point favorite to win. So if they were to lose to Florida, the key is stopping the bleeding against Missouri. And Vanderbilt looks banged up right now. I mean, they could be taking some serious momentum into the back half of February. And even if they lose this game, it's not the end of the world. Like, they have done so much head work in their 7-2 start that you can afford to drop a couple games that otherwise people thought were going to be wins. And so they have done enough. They're comfortably an 8 seed right now. There is really no negative thoughts about what this team has done in their first 9 games. So, yeah, if they lose this game, it's not the end of the world. There is, I mean, truly, there is a path to 11 to 12 wins. And until they drop a couple games they shouldn't, there's really no cause for concern with this team.
I just don't want to see another Oklahoma State. Again, you know, you have that big loss. As long as you keep winning.
But if you can have a big loss, Florida's the team you have a big loss.
Absolutely, yeah.
And if you're going to have a big win, Florida's a great one to do too, right?
Yeah. Like, I mean, Florida won. They've won their last 2 games by like 60-plus points combined. Like, there's not a hotter team in the country right now. If there was ever a game that you circled of, hey, this might be a blowout, it's probably this one. But the fact that A&M hasn't been blown out since their 3rd game of the year has been promising. Every single game they've been in, they either lose in overtime or they're a shot away from overtime.
2 weeks ago, we were at your desk talking about the right 10 or 11 wins.
Yeah.
At this point, is it still the right 10 or 11 wins? If A&M gets to 11 wins, are they a lock for the tournament?
Yeah, it doesn't matter what 11 they have because they'll be a top 6 seed in a conference that's getting 9 teams in. You can't leave that team out. Even with the weak non-conference and the lack of a quality win, you're probably looking at your best win being Auburn, and that's a top 8 seed. That's not a bad, good win. It's just having a win like a Florida or an Alabama or a Vanderbilt that's a lock for a top 4 seed. That is going to move the needle on Selection Sunday. And you would see A&M's projected seed jump up by like 2 seeds if they were to win this game. Like, that is how big getting one of these games would be. The Arkansas win would be the same. If they are able to win one of Florida, Vanderbilt, or Arkansas, that is a multiple seed line mover as opposed to just kind of inching their way up the seed line.
But you say 11 or 10 would be a lock, you think? 11, right?
10 with a Florida win, 11 without a signature win.
Okay.
I think they're in great position right now. Their odds have been over 90% for a month now, for like 3 weeks now. They're in a great position. Getting this win would probably make them a game away from locking themselves into the tournament.
And the good thing is they're getting such positive national talk right now. They finally, everybody else seemed to jump on the bandwagon, last weekend, so that helps tremendous, and again, because that committee hears that now, because, we think they're doing their homework, sometimes we question whether they have or not, but, if they're hearing that from their so-called experts, they got to start looking at A&M and going, hey, this team's for real.
Yeah.
Tap, I said this week on the show, probably yesterday, that they have, to me, advanced to a level of they are no longer a maybe. They are a bracket team. Now, there's still a lot of season left, but playing at the clip they're playing at, they're beyond that. They're not a Cinderella story now. I think they have moved themselves into a conversation of where are they going to be seated.
And I think a lot of that goes back to their depth because, hey, we're going to take Ruben Dominguez away. So now what? Marcus Hill now gets to the hole and gets some 3-point plays and has some opportunities. And so I think that's why I feel comfortable saying those things because about the lock and everything, because somebody seems to have stepped up every game. Yeah. Now, sure, we can't let Rashawn Agee get in foul trouble, on Saturday. That might be the biggest issue we could have, trying to fight for rebounds. And I hope he realizes, hey, I'm out. I'll fight for the next rebound, and not pick up any sillies. But to me, the depth just continues to not only do it for us, but gets people going, who do you stop? And I think that's why we are locked, because so far this year, somebody's typically stepped up every ball game.
Yeah. They've got all the pieces they need right in front of them. I mean, it's maybe too early to say they're a lock, but they are definitely trending towards that. If you had to put money on A&M making the tournament right now, you'd feel pretty good about getting that money back because their odds are, I think they're like 99.7% right now, according to Torvik.
And the answer is always yes, but can A&M beat Florida if Ruben Dominguez struggles again? Because I don't think so. I think they need Ruben to hit some threes.
Yeah, they gotta screen with Ruben and try and find any way they can to get him open. You don't beat a team like Florida without an X factor or somebody going off. This team isn't big enough to even out the rebounding margin. You need somebody. I don't think A&M wins if they don't have a guy go for 20 plus. They're going to need some kind of extraordinary effort, and there is no better player capable of that than Ruben Dominguez because literally in a minute and a half, he could score 12 points.
So let me ask you this, and not to change it, but do we need to look at Rashawn Agee as somebody like, how's he going to get his against this big front court? And then I'll counter that, or not counter that, I'll add to that. Maybe we'll see him a little bit more bringing out the 5s and the 4s closer to the 3-point line, trying to open it up a little bit.
Yeah, I think Rashawn has proven that you can't really play drop coverage on him because he's now making his threes. This is a serious weapon in his arsenal that has really only been unlocked in the last 3 games. But he shot over 40% on 3 attempts per game in the final 15 games last year at USC. If Rashawn Agee comes out and hits a couple threes, that's going to change everything fundamentally for Florida's defense. And so far, I want to say 3 games in a row now, he's hit one in the first 8 minutes. So he's got to come out and play his best game. I'm not worried about him not getting his. It's going to come down to can he finish inside over the SEC Defensive Player of the Year, over the National Defensive Player of the Year candidate, Ruben Chinyelu. Rashawn Agee is going to get his. I really don't see a world where he goes 0 for 8 from the field, knock on wood. But at the end of the day, he's going to find a way to get to the free throw line and get some kind of output. You just cannot contain Rashawn Agee. And so even if he doesn't put up 20 plus, he's going to make sure that he draws 7 fouls and gets himself to the free throw line.
And also, I think they're so good on that 5 out with him at the top. He makes such incredibly good passes to people cutting to the basket. He finds the open player almost everywhere, even if he's down low and they double, So again, I think it's going to force some of those guys. So if he hits those threes early on, now they're going to have to come out, like you said, not guard the basket, and it's going to open up for some of those backdoor cuts.
Hey, a Zach Clemens appearance, hitting some threes like the last time he played at Reed Arena would be quite nice too.
Hey, you got great minutes from Zach last game. He hit 2 of 2 from 3. Yeah, it's coming together to where I think Zach has a lot of confidence in.
So is Ruben almost more of a decoy? You hate to say it, but try to take 2 defenders coming off the screen, it opens up somebody else.
Well, they can't guard Ruben in transition. If there was ever a game where Ruben needs to have a Florida State type performance where he's not going to get anything in the half court, other teams will not let him get anything in the half court. my first look in transition has to be Ruben Dominguez immediately. And I can live with Ruben taking 8 transition threes because that's your best shot to win.
Well, and I mean, do they have the athletes that Alabama has? I know they have the talent.
Florida has, they've got athletes and they've got size. They I don't want this to turn into a half-court game. That's a recipe for disaster for A&M. Even if they start missing in transition, you have to stay with that strategy for 40 minutes. A&M has to get something in transition.
All right. Tap, stick around. Luke, thank you, buddy. Appreciate you. We'll talk a little women's basketball, a little men's golf on the other side, and then Billy Liucci at 10 o'clock. Right now, when it comes to your preserving your farm or your ranch's legacy, you're not working for today, you're working for tomorrow. And to tell that story tomorrow and the years after, you need to have some documentation of it. And Heritage Films does that for you. They do these 2-hour documentaries for families that tell the family story, the family business story, the family ranch story, your grandfather's story, and they keep it for the future generations so you know exactly what you're inheriting, you know exactly what your operation was built on, and you know exactly the stories that really made your family. Learn more by calling Chance McClain up at 713-893-8341. That is 713-893-8341. Or check out his website, yourheritagefilm.com. It is yourheritagefilm.com. Check it out.
Everyone, David Nuño here for Allen Honda. Had a great conversation with them earlier today. John Allen's the owner. He's been here forever. And also their GM, Rusty Skinner, great guy. Wonderful conversation. They're super local. They're a family-owned dealership, not some massive auto group. And they treat their customers like family because they basically are family. They're Aggie alums. They love Aggie sports, and they've been serving the Brazos Valley with integrity, with passion, and commitment to excellence for over 50 years, which is very rare, by the way, for the independents because people trust them. And that's why they've been doing it for such a long time. Whether you're looking to buy, lease, or service your vehicle, you can count on them for transparent, no-pressure experience that puts your needs first. And I can attest to it. Had a great conversation about my own situation with them. Their knowledgeable sales team will help you find the perfect Honda to fit your lifestyle, from fuel-efficient sedans to versatile SUVs. Leasing options are flexible and affordable, making it easy to drive the latest models with confidence. And when it comes to service, their certified technicians only use genuine Honda parts to keep your vehicle running at its best, whether it's routine maintenance for major repairs or whatever it may be. And we know that trust isn't given, it is earned, and that's why generations of local drivers right here in the Brazos Valley and Bryan College Station keep coming back to Allen Honda. As part of the community with Aggie spirit in their hearts, they are here to make everyone's visit wonderful. So visit their showroom or their service lane and find friendly, efficient, and memorable situations when you go to Allen Honda. Come see why so many College Station and Bryan drivers choose Allen Honda for their automotive needs, and remember, gig 'em.
And we're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Tap Bentz still with us. We turn our attention to women's basketball. Progress.
Yeah. You never feel great about a loss.
A double-digit loss, but
like I said, earlier, you're down 4 with 8 minutes left in the ball game, and you're outplaying a lot. Just the talent level took over for South Carolina. But, that was the team I was hoping we would see all year. And I think they lost some confidence a little bit.
Yeah.
If one thing would go wrong, they got it back. But, Joni's kept working with them and got it back, it seemed. And they had a week off, so they played on Monday. They play Alabama on Sunday, who won a tight game last night against Ole Miss. Basically, Ole Miss had a shot at the buzzer to win it. So, she was very happy to play Monday. She goes, usually you don't get Monday and don't have to play the following Sunday. A lot of times it's Monday, Thursday, Sunday. So she was very excited about that, give the players a little break. And hopefully it'll pay off because, Alabama's number 2. Shockingly, we're playing a ranked team but this one at least is double digits. They're 24, 25 or something like that. But everybody else was, single digit.
So beyond record and rankings, who do you think has been the best team A&M has played?
That I saw? I tell you, when they played us, I thought Vanderbilt just was clicking on all cylinders. And, just the motion they had in the offense and the defense, LSU shocked them by hitting some threes. Full Wally came in and just kind of sped the game up, and they, to the pace that A&M wasn't ready for. Just depth, and South Carolina was missing 2 of their starting guards, from injury, and they have been, and they still just had, who do you stop?
Right.
You stop them, and somebody else steps up. But so talent-wise, definitely South Carolina. But I thought the team that just clicked the most when they played us was Vanderbilt. Now, they haven't played that well since, but that night they looked good.
But A&M clicked the most in a loss against South Carolina, right?
Yeah, they did, and they played. And let's remember, they did it with Fats and Nye on the bench.
Trouble, yeah.
I know Fats got frustrated, and that 5th foul was a technical foul. And so it's just things like that. If you have those 2 in, but then who would have thought that Anita Franchini, from Italy, could have come in and did what she did? But she's been progressing, and Joni's got confidence in her now. And, it has been a 3-game progression that after every game you go, well, geez, Anita's done this. And then all of a sudden she did everything she did the other night, and it was just fantastic.
Well, and we talked about how thin the margins are on the men's side. On the women's side, also can be very thin margins. A&M shot 91% from the free throw line.
Yeah.
They're going to need every little bit to beat these top teams.
They are, and that's where, I wish if there was one thing that, they could have is Chaney Spencer is playing hard, given everything she has. And I don't think she's a true point guard, to give Nye a break. If Nye's not on the floor, they really struggle. So if they could have, or if Chaney can grow into that, point guard, because again, you've seen some good things from her, but to be that consistent, level, to be a freshman, to step into the starting point, a point guard in the SEC against ranked teams is tough, even just for a couple of minutes sometimes. And the other teams seem to ramp up the pressure also when Nye's not in the ball game.
So what's the recipe to beat Bama?
I was watching them last night, and really it's just stopping them from getting penetration. They have one good shooter, but the typical thing, you just have to play harder than they do. They play hard. I mean, Christy Curry is an old friend of mine, and I know she always gets her teams to play very hard. Mm-hmm. But they just Aggies have to, I think they need to score a little bit more in transition, because I think they're better in transition than they are in their half-court offense. And Joni's teams are going to adjust. They'll probably be able to be a little more comfortable and get into the man. They played a lot of zone against South Carolina, but that's not what they do. But they played it well. So maybe that's what Joni feels like, maybe to protect some of the players. I don't know. But I feel like they can match up with them against Bama.
All right. Regardless of the outcome, hopefully it's a victory for A&M. What do they have to do in this game? And not from a X's and O's standpoint, but to me, they have to follow up what they did against South Carolina against Alabama. It has to be that level of play. Regardless of the outcome, it can't be resort back to that team that once things go south, it goes really south.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, you can't. And they've shown you what you can do against one of the better teams, so you can't go back because let's face it, you lost a lot of fans. over that stretch, no matter who you played. And yes, it was the toughest. They were number 5 in strength of schedule going into the South Carolina game. So, nobody else on this campus has probably played a schedule that tough, So now you show that you can do it. Now you should have confidence, and you're not playing a single-digit ranked team. And so if something goes wrong, it's okay. Just come back and keep playing hard.
Tat, appreciate you, buddy.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you, man. As a reminder, the final segment of the program is brought to you by Double Dave's. That's at 10:50. But right now, caller number 12, 979-693-1150. We'll hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza from Double Dave's. They've been serving Aggie Land since 1984 with your favorite pizza and, of course, those world-famous pepperoni rolls. Reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com, and your favorites are on their way. We are back here on TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Our good friend, Brian Kortan in studio. Talk a little Aggie men's golf. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Every time you come in, I prop you up on your gear. It's looking really nice.
Yeah, we're fortunate. We have some pretty good stuff.
So people who keep asking me, because I wore my Peter Millar, I think it was on Tuesday I wore it. People are like, "Where can I get that?" I said, you can't. Technically, there are ways, right? You can go to the website and be a member.
Yeah, we have an Aggie Golf Association. You can go to the 12th Man website and find it. It's there's a couple different levels that you can join, and you get some of the best gear in town. So and spend some time with our guys and play some golf. So if that interests you, hop on there and join us. But yeah, it's pretty awesome. We've got a really good group of members that they're awesome. They take great care of us.
Well, hopefully, many of you that have been asking can join the fray. So how's it gone the early part of the year?
You know, it's kind of dipping our toe in the water a little bit. Mm-hmm. Went to Palm Springs, got some good work in, played a match. We were definitely rusty. Went out there and played. We played for a couple of days, then played Stanford a match, and they took care of us pretty good. So some close matches, but we weren't sharp. We weren't quite what we needed to be. So a little better this week. We went to Jacksonville. Sea Best. Only ended up being a 36-hole event. Really
because of the weather?
Yeah, it was cold. Like the practice round where we teed off in the practice round, the wind chill was like 19 degrees.
In Jacksonville? Wow.
Yeah, it was, I've never had so many clothes on, but didn't bother the guys. They were great. They just jumped right through it and had a good time. But yeah, we went over there and went, played with Florida, toe-to-toe with those guys for 2 days, and they clipped us in the end, and North Carolina Wilmington was in there too, and they played really well. So we hung in there and really got a little better this week over there. Really had great performances by Wheaton, who finished third, and then Aaron Pounds, who tied for the win. Mm-hmm. And then we had Jaime finished 20th, which is good. So we just got to get one more guy to play some good golf, and we're in good shape. But really took a good step forward. Guys got some confidence from that, and it shows there's a little pep in their step.
Important to take on these level of teams at this point too, like Stanford. That's you all learn from that, and you apply it at the next tournament.
Yeah, I mean, we're coaches, so we talk well about when we learned something. We got our tail kicked, but we're going to learn something from it. I hate losing, so that's just ugh. Yeah, I probably can't use the language I'd usually use, right. But losing stuff on me. But the guys understand it, and it's a sport where a lot of things have to go right, and you are playing mano a mano, and we're playing a match play deal. So on that day, we just couldn't quite get over the hump. But the guys really, they really enjoy it. They like the process of getting better, and that's a big part of what we try to do here in our program is get better every time we go out, learn from what we're doing, but the eye's on the prize at the end.
Yeah, I think that's more what I mean is that, like, if coaches don't want moral victories or anything like that, but did you get better, and you felt good about that?
Felt great about that. Yeah, the guys, you have to identify what you need to do to get better. Golf is such a big game. I mean, there's so much that goes on during a round that you have to learn. I mean, it's mentally and it's physical, and you have to learn those lessons and apply them and work at them. And it's not overnight. It's not an overnight fix. So it takes time, which is great because it's, we're just creeping into February here, and all the big stuff is end of April and into May, and so we got time.
Yeah, and you mentioned Aaron earlier. He got the SEC Golfer of the Week. That's, I think, second time this year. Mm-hmm. Just talk a little bit about his growth.
Just maturing and believing is a big part of what he's done. Physically, he was always, he's a good, physically a good size, good strength, really works his tail off. The effort has never been in question. It was just a matter of him, in a lot of ways, just getting over the hump mentally and understanding how to use the confidence that he earns and use it moving forward and not let it be fleeting. He holds on to it better and doesn't get ahead of himself. So mature kid, really, really loves being a Texas A&M Aggie. He's one of our leaders and been a big part of his program since he stepped foot on campus. So to see him have success, you can't help but, makes me smile every time I see him. So I'm proud of him.
And a nice 1-2 punch with the way Wheaton's playing.
Yeah, Wheaton's continuing to develop as well. That's a big piece. I mean, just an understanding that they do need to continue to get better. They don't rest on a good finish. They don't rest on a good tournament. They come back from that tournament thinking about the things that they still can do better. So when you have guys in front of the bus that do that, it really brings the other guys along, understanding that those guys are going to work hard and they're doing this. Man, I got to keep up. So it's a good thing to have within the locker room.
What about Jaime? And was he third in scoring for you all, right?
Yeah, Jaime. I mean, probably didn't get out of the rounds what he thought he could. The first day in the wind and the cold, he really gutted it out, and the second day just really didn't get enough putts to fall, probably to have a really good score there. But in general, fourth, he's a senior, one of the guys that play and we rely on a lot. Just physically talented. When he continues to get better in terms of the mental side of the sport, he'll probably be a really successful professional. He's learning a lot of lessons with us.
And I believe you mentioned after this past week, you need some more guys to step up. Talk a little bit about some of those candidates, if you will.
Yeah, there's several guys in there they're all talented guys. It's just a matter of being able to travel. They can play it. When you play well at home, you got to figure out what allows you to play well on the road. And again, it's that confidence piece. They're physically gifted guys. They're big, they're strong, they're fast, and they know how to play. They tactically have to be a little better on the road, but they have to hold on to that confidence a little stronger and create some on the road sometimes. So, there's Alex Long is a sophomore. He's got in the lineup here, and he played earlier in the fall. He's really been playing good at home, so he's got to get a little more comfortable on the road and when the lights are on. So he's somebody that we're hoping we can continue to develop.
Jack did pretty well as well, right?
Jack's just a big, imposing physical guy that really can really do well if he's clean. And that's when he's got to be on the road. When he's clean at home, he shoots good scores. We have to make sure he's clean on the road, and that will be really productive for us.
Excuse the dumb question, but is it reps? How do you play clean on the road? Is it all here?
Well, it's mental, but it's also just doing the simple things well. I mean, I guess simple is a tough word in golf, but the things that you should do well, the easy pitches, the putting in terms of not 3-putting and making your putts in 5 feet and in, those are things that they work on religiously, and that needs to be a deal where on the road, no matter where you're playing or what the circumstances are, those become just like riding a bike. You just don't forget how to do them, and you do them well. So if they do those well on the road, that's a big step in being clean.
What's next for you?
Well, we got a tough trip coming up. We head to Hawaii.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Hawaii is next.
We head to Hawaii Sunday, so we're fortunate. We get to do some awesome things. But we go every year to Hawaii.
That's right.
And the guys look forward to it. I look forward to it. Man, I can't remember the last time I didn't go to Hawaii, in February. So really fortunate we get to do that, but also get there. And really, it's a great team event. My wife gets to go, and we hang out a little bit. So she gets out of the classroom and goes to Hawaii. So it's awesome. It's a good trip.
So that trip, does it take anything out of you? I mean, you're going to Hawaii. It's a relaxing environment, but what is it, an 8-hour flight, I'm assuming?
A little longer. It's a pretty good tug to get over there, but we get there early enough so they can kind of get settled in, play a little golf, and then get into tournament mode. But yeah, getting home, you kind of get a little wonky, a little tired, but we come home, we've got about 10, 12 days before we leave again. So we'll get our feet back underneath us, get back into the rhythm of being home, study a little bit, get in the gym, and then we'll get back at it when we go to Vegas at the end of the month.
So another nice trip then, too.
I mean, golf, you have to go where you have to go where it is.
Where the courses are, yeah.
So this time of year, it's Florida, it's Arizona, it's California. You're not going to Chicago this time of year or anywhere Midwest. So even Texas, it's hit and miss. We've had some pretty cold weather, so it starts to open up a little bit after Vegas, where you can go to some other places and play. So it's a nice process. Get to go to a lot of different places, and we get to see some nice ones.
Do you like where you are right now?
I mean, we're coaches, so we always think we can be better and we want to be better. But we knew going through this year that there was some growth that had to happen, and we're pushing that a little bit. And I think I do see some very good things out of this group, and Coach Fast and myself, we've spent a lot of time with these guys, and a lot of them have been in the program a long time. So they're getting better, they're getting more comfortable in their own skin, especially the younger guys that haven't played as much, and that's the development piece that we're kind of locked into.
Paying attention to some of the other sports.
Yeah, I'm going to go to the Florida game.
Yeah,
I'm going to go the Aggie game against Florida.
The Aggie game against Florida, the blackout.
Yeah, the blackout. Saw Coach Bucky yesterday. Man, he's funny to talk to.
Yeah,
he's got a way about him that's pretty cool. But we'll go to that. And I know everybody's busy right now. I know softball just kicked off, and
baseball next week.
Yeah, and baseball's right around the corner, so it's about to be a busy campus again, which is cool to see. I love that.
Yeah. All right, thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Thanks.
We'll hit a break. We'll come back with more here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. And we're back here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studios. Time for On TexAgs Today.
It's always a great time to become a TexAgs subscriber.
Did you notice I didn't use the accent?
Yeah, we've moved.
Well, no, I did it yesterday, but Josh heard it. He goes, "Oh, I heard you with the little accent." It's like kind of when your parents catch you doing something dumb. Like,
and they're like, "Why are you doing that?" And you're like,
TexAgs Today.
TexAgs Today. You know, with Diamond Sports kicking off, it's a great time to become a TexAgs premium subscriber. But some of the things we have on TexAgs today, we have the Read Report with Luke and Justin highlighting the win in Athens and then the loss in Tuscaloosa and setting the table for Operation Blackout Read Arena on Saturday against Florida. We have OB's article about how A&M could fare in the first round of the NFL draft if A&M could potentially get a third player selected on night one, and how often other blue blood programs have produced at least 3 players in the first round. We have a handful of NIL interviews, including offensive lineman Trevon Baugh. The transfer talks about how he ended up in Aggie land and how he's adapting to his new teammates. Clemson baseball transfer Ethan Darden came into studio. He'll talk about the depth in the bullpen and his mentality every time he steps onto the bump. And then we had Texas A&M point guard Josh Holloway come in for an interview with Luke, talking about how the Aggies have been so successful up to this point and some insight into their matchup with the Gators. And then coming up later today and this weekend, we will have continued softball coverage as they continue with the Aggie Classic, basketball coverage, including OB's advanced article, Luke's keys to the game, and Tom Schubert's scouting report. And then we have the beginning of 7 days till Aggie baseball begins today, with Richard and Bronny giving you written content each day leading up to opening day next Friday against Tennessee Tech.
And so go be a premium subscriber. You get all that before everybody else. Also, Coach Early's Hits will start with us on Monday. Looking forward to that. He'll join us on Mondays and Thursdays during the baseball season. And looking forward to seeing how they turn this this program back around. Because last year was tough. They showed us something. Unfortunately, the Missouri series happened and kind of taken away from them. But they were certainly a much better team that second half of the year. I know we got a couple text messages and some comments. I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah, we did have a text earlier this morning come in. It was intended for the go hour. We weren't able to get to it, but with the success that basketball has had so far, does that change the expectations into March?
Yeah.
Considering that going into the year, we just wanted to get in to March. Now, do we expect this team to round of 32, Sweet 16?
It's hard to, last year's team was a veteran team that didn't make it to the Sweet 16, right? Like, they got to the round of 2. I do know this. If you don't have a lot of time to prepare for buckyball, it's going to be really hard the first time you see buckyball to be ready for it. So if they can continue taking care of business, right, get in the tournament, play at this level, I think they're going to be a really hard out for anybody. I really do. I would prefer they get out of the 8-9 range, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to take on a 1 seed in the second round. You know, it'd be nice to get a little bit higher.
Yeah.
You know. 5 seed would be fine.
Yeah, 5 seeds are good, but it always seems like there's a 12 seed that gets you. There's got to be a statistic out there, but it seems like every year there's a 12 over a 5.
There was a year a couple years ago that no 12s won, but yes, typically there is a 12.
That's like the most common. I remember last year A&M was a highly picked 5 to get upset by Yale because they had beat Auburn the year before, but obviously they didn't do that. Lindsey Vonn, there's a new video of her.
So she's doing squats, and did she tear her ACL or something?
Yeah, she tore her ACL like a week ago, and there's now video of her doing
Did she
runs.
Really tear her ACL then? How does that work?
I don't know, but it's insane. There's a video of her actually going down the Olympic course today with a torn ACL at 41 years old.
Huh. That's pretty amazing.
It is.
I just don't understand how you can work out at that level with a torn ACL.
I don't know.
Stem cell therapy, shots, what? What are they doing?
The streets are talking about, is the ACL actually that important? If she's able to do this without one?
Well, Reese, I'm glad you asked that. I tore my ACL in 1993.
Here we go.
Okay?
First-hand experience.
They gave me a robot leg, basically. They gave me this brace that, I've told the story before, but they gave me this huge brace, and then when I went to football practice with this brace, 6 months later, whatever it was that I was able to start really running, I ran so slow that the coach on sprints would say, Monday, Tuesday, what? That's how slow I was going. So I think, yes, the ACL is that important.
Lindsey Vonn proving maybe not.
Well, I'd like to see the MRI.
Yeah. Fair
you don't
argument.
have a response for that one, do you?
Fair argument.
I don't know. I think it's awesome, regardless. Yeah. If you can strain your hamstring, you're out for months, right? So whatever she's going through, pretty great to see that. We'll hit a break. We'll come back with Billy Liucci on a mobile next on TexAgs Live.
We are back here on TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Hope to get Billy Liucci on a mobile at some point on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. But you can text the show right now as we tap dance for a few minutes. I got a couple thoughts I'll get into on how you beat Florida. You hope that, no. I have a couple different thoughts about that. I'm going to give you a quick opportunity. When I say quick, you can take a moment or two
right.
to Reese Nygren at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. What would be your game plan to beat Florida?
I mean, it's really not that much different than what Buckyball really is, because Luke talked about it. Pretty much at all times, they have 3 players 6'8" or taller on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
They're not ball handlers. So all of a sudden, I mean, Houck can handle the ball, but he's 6'8". So the ball is higher up when he dribbles it. So you got guards all over the place. You're taught as a big not to put the ball on the ground. But Xavier Lee and Boogie Fland are really the only 2 ball handlers on the floor at all times. And so if you can speed them up, all of a sudden you have an Alex Condon bringing the ball down the floor.
Right.
You have Houck bringing the ball down the floor. So I mean, it's really no different than what Bucky ball is force turnovers and speed teams up. And I think you could be able to do that.
Yeah. So to me, you cannot allow Florida's strengths to be these huge strengths, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're going to be there.
Yeah.
So you can't let it be monumental, seismic shifts.
Yeah.
But you do need seismic shifts of what you're good at.
Yeah.
So if you recognize, all right, look, we're not going to out-rebound Florida. But we cannot allow them to out-rebound us by 30.
Yeah.
Right? Can we force them into some bad turnovers? Can we speed them up into a way to make that very uncomfortable for them? So how I would.
Yeah.
Again, whatever Bucky does, I trust.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm going to try to use what I think maybe Bucky would say, when he's having his meeting with his coaches, right?
He has yet to give us a reason not to believe.
Yeah. I mean, and that might be Billy calling, but I think you got to get Dominguez going early.
Yeah.
Get that 3 ball going early.
Let him see one go through.
Right.
And then let it snowball from there.
My daughter had a game recently where she just didn't feel very confident. I was like, dude, just go foul somebody. Like early in the game, like you're the gym, like go foul somebody. Like get your adrenaline going. Ruben Dominguez, get an early 3 going. Finish at the rim.
Even if it's a layup.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Like for a shooter, like watching the ball go through is as big of a confidence boost as anything. So if Ruben Dominguez, even if it's a free throw, like watching that ball go through the hoop could instantly give him the confidence.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. That's where we find our executive editor and co-owner of TexAgs. His name is Billy Liucci. Billy Liucci, good morning. Hi, Billy. Okay. Don't hear him. Anybody?
Nope.
Okay. That was a good try. Billy.
Hello?
Hey, Billy.
Y'all don't hear me.
There we go.
No, now I hear you.
There we go.
Okay.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. Hey, we were just talking about the recipe to beat Florida. And I know you're not a coach, but we can at least start off with this Florida matchup this weekend. After a heartbreaker, a really great game against Alabama, you got another great opportunity against the reigning national champions.
I mean, opportunity that doesn't come around very often when you're about to take on, like you said, the defending national champs in your house. You're tied for first place. You are exactly at the midpoint of SEC play, tied for first place in the conference with the defending national champions, and you get them in your house. And they are beatable. I know they looked unbeatable against Alabama. I know that they had a little extra time to get ready for this one. I know they've got a massive height advantage, and they scored 75 points in the paint against Alabama, and Alabama controlled the boards against the Aggies in their next game. There are a lot of reasons why you wouldn't pick A&M to win that game, but I go back to it's college basketball, it's the SEC. I've watched Missouri beat this Florida team. I watched an Auburn team that A&M beat go in there less than 2 weeks ago and beat that team. And Florida, win or lose for A&M, they're walking into a buzzsaw, and they're going up against I'm going to tell you right now, at this point in the season, one of the best teams in the Southeastern Conference in Texas A&M. And you can pick apart whether or not you think they're going to stay there, or you can talk about the teams they haven't played yet. But I would quickly point to, they won in Austin. Go look at some of the teams that Longhorns have beaten. They won in Auburn. Go look at some of the teams Auburn's beaten, particularly Florida. And then if you watch that game the other night, in no world, like you might say, yeah, Alabama looks like they could have more staying power in the tournament because of that size, and they've got Phylon and yada yada. But if you watch that game, A&M went into Tuscaloosa, and they went into Knoxville with another team that's going to, be picked to win at least a couple games in that tournament, if not more. And they went to both those places and basically played them to one possession. Tennessee double overtime, Bama. We saw Ryland's last shot. The Aggies led that game with under a minute and a half left. Like Texas A&M, it may be defying logic or your odds, and I really don't think it does, because I just think it's their unique style and the confidence and depth with which they trot out every time. But they're right there with Tennessee, with Alabama, with Auburn, and so absolutely they would have a shot to win this game on Saturday, and especially if the crowd turns out and makes this one of the, Reed Arena doesn't have a reputation like Kyle Field or like Bluebell as far as, daunting environments for opponents, but it can be, and it has been, and I think it will be tomorrow.
Billy, to me, it could come down to who is able to assert their will, because there's completely different styles. A little bit more slow down, half court style versus the fast pace tempo. A&M likes to force these turnovers and get the high octane. So to me, it's going to come down to how much of A&M's will can be pushed upon to Florida to play at their pace.
Yeah, no question about it. And also, I think the other thing is, one of the keys might be Clements and Aggie hitting a couple early threes. Mm-hmm. Maybe get some of that size, make it have to come out on the perimeter at least a little bit, and open some things up inside for the Aggie guards. But yeah, I mean, Alabama in some ways, Alabama was probably more comfortable playing the type tempo A&M likes to play. I mean, I think obviously, and they were more comfortable with that. I think that Florida will be. And like you said, it's a question of, can A&M kind of force that tempo upon them? This is a Florida team that I think can go back to a Final Four. I don't think they can win a national title just simply because I just think there are a few teams better, but certainly worse teams than this have probably won them in recent years, But I certainly think they're a team that can get back to a Final Four, but I don't think they're on the level that they were last season. I just don't. And by the way, this team is going to probably lose Florida. They've already lost 2 through the first half of SEC play. If I were a betting man, I would bet on them to lose 2 more. I don't know which 2. But I know if I'm listing the most likely losses in the second half of SEC play for Florida, a road trip to 7-2 tied for first place A&M with their unique style of play and going into Reed Arena for that one would be pretty high up on the list. So that it's going to happen. Why not it be A&M? This is not Nick Saban prime Alabama. A&M's playing, and guess what? The Aggies beat them a couple times too. So now I could not be more fired up for this game. I guess I could have if they would have beaten Bama on Wednesday night. But man, I walked away from that one almost not feeling good, because I mean, imagine if you win that game. All these kind of games that are going to look like must win that you can't give up. Like when you're favored, or the home games against equal teams like the Texas, Texas and Missouri, like those type games, that's tough when you almost get one. Because imagine if you'd have gotten Tennessee or Bama, you'd have a little more wiggle room, and you'd feel like a lot more wiggle room. But watching the Aggies play Wednesday night, I felt even better about their staying power, and I felt even better about their potential of what this team could do in a postseason and in terms of remaining in contention in this SEC race.
Billy, when you talked about Aggie getting going early, I actually had said, as you were calling in, that I think getting Dominguez going early could really be a difference maker in this one, because a confident Dominguez who's getting his looks in transition, to me, could be the difference in this one. I thought it was a good thought.
It was a good thought.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. Hi, Billy.
Nuño?
Yeah, you left for a second. That's weird.
Oh, you must have been, you were muted.
You were saying?
You were talking about Dominguez?
Yeah, just getting him going early, how different that, I mean, I think that could be a real key for this team, getting him off early.
Well, and and the other night, it wasn't his night. And, you're like, gosh, if it was, what could they have done, right? But at the same time, my answer is if you told me Dominguez, if you told me Dominguez was going to get hot and have a good game, I would have. For Saturday, I love A&M's chances, right? Anytime he hits at least 3, if not 4 or 5 threes, I'm feeling great about A&M's chances. But the beauty of it is, look at the last few games. Dominguez, I think, shot well against South Carolina, but there was Zach Clemens. And then, it might be Ali Deba. It might be Jakari Lane. It's been Marcus Hill lately. It's been Pop Isaacs at times. And then there's a consistency. But you also don't know when, I think particularly, I guess you got to put Clemens in there anytime somebody hits 7 threes in an SEC game. But I think particularly between Rylan Griffin and Dominguez, I think either one of those guys has the potential to hit like 6 threes in a game, kind of any time out. You never know. One of those two might go out there and rip about 6 of them. So really, to me, if either one of those guys is hot, this team really gets hard to stop, because the rest of the guys, multiple ones out of that group are going to get going. So if I think Dominguez, I'll answer your question, say Dominguez or Rylan. If either one of them get going early, I'd feel really good about it.
Well, and to follow that up, Billy, early in the season, it was, Aggie was going to get going and Dominguez. And then it's been, Rylan Griffin joins that pack. And, over the last 2 weeks, we have seen Zach Clemens have his day. We've seen Marcus Hill have really big games, and 3 straight double-digit games. He had 18 the other. Like there's been other folks have stepped up. So if Dominguez hasn't been the guy, there have been others to step in that role.
No, it is truly a team. Pop Isaacs can get it going. He's been doing that way more consistently lately. We talked about Clemens a minute ago. I think Ali Deba has really found his form and found his role on the team. So, this is and like you said, Aggie he's a guy that is absolutely playing at a first-team All-SEC level. This will be, I think, his toughest test of the season. Tennessee was another one. He finds ways to get it done, so I expect he will again tomorrow.
Yeah, Billy, if they can force turnovers, I don't want to make it as simple as that, because Florida's obviously a very good team, but if they can force turnovers and just play their brand of basketball, then it might come down to the last 5 minutes of the game. And at that point, A&M, I know, has lost the last 2 against really good teams in the last 5 minutes of games, but they've also won 3 quad 1 games here on this road stand, or in the previous road stand.
Yeah, A&M's a legitimately good team. They should be in the top 25. I don't know with this schedule if they hold out, enough to win the SEC, but if they win tomorrow night, then I think you start to have that conversation, because then you've got a game up on Florida. And look, if they just were to lose, say, one more the rest of the way, one more in their final 8 games of conference play, they're sitting at 4. A&M would be, you're just going like, man, if you can go 6-2 the rest of the way, you're probably going to win an SEC championship. That's if you beat Florida, and that's obviously a massive if. I know no one outside, very few people not wearing maroon and white or Aggie ring are going to be picking the Aggies to pull this upset. But again, I just don't think this is an unbeatable Florida team. I just think it sets up where you wish they would have had a midweek game, all those things. But I mean, who knows? Alabama had to play last Wednesday, or I'm sorry, they had to play the weekend against Florida on a Sunday, and got beaten like an absolute drum, and that didn't help A&M any. I think, if anything, that absolutely hurt the Aggies' chances, because you got the most desperate, locked-in, mentally focused, must-win Alabama team you were going to get, sitting at 4-4 in the league at the time. So I don't think them playing. So you never know what Florida playing would have done. You could have had one of their best players roll an ankle and miss a couple games. So it's always, one way or the other. But they're coming in hot. They're coming in, I think, clearly the best team in this conference. I don't think that's a question in terms of if you're asking nationally who's the class of the SEC right now. It's Florida. You can change that narrative tomorrow night in 2 hours at Reed Arena.
All right, we'll hit a break. We'll come back with more from Billy Liucci there on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Right now, we're talking about our friends at Paragon Financial. When it comes to your financial decisions, having the right advisor makes all the difference in the world. And Aggie-owned Paragon Financial Advisors is an independent fiduciary firm working with clients across Texas focused on advice, not commissions or sales quotas. They have a team of 18 professionals, 8 CFP professionals, and a CFA. And the level of experience helps ensure your plan is built with care, clarity, and long-term perspective. Visit paragon-adv.com or call them up 979-693-3907 to schedule your free consultation today. It is Paragon Financial Advisors. Integrity, expertise, and trust. Paragon Financial Advisors.
All right, we're back here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Got Billy Liucci on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Billy, we continue our conversation. I'm just going to read this to you. CBS Sports had A&M as the number 10 team that could win the national championship at plus 1,500 to win the national championship. And it says the Aggies are 19-7 over the last 2 seasons, nearly secured a top 4 seed. Goes on to Marcel Reed returns, Reuben Owens returns, Mario Craver returns. The biggest question is what the offensive line will look like. Just react a little bit of that kind of love from CBS Sports.
I'm going to react first to that song, Def Leppard, Photograph, a little before your time.
DEF, no, I'm your age.
Def Leppard's probably a little hardcore for you.
Yeah, that's not my genre.
That heavy metal. Yeah, no, I'm not a heavy metal.
Why'd you make me sound like Olin there?
Like who?
Olin.
Probably because he just was literally texted me as I was doing that voice. So I probably is exactly what happened now that we hash it out. But no, I think Hysteria and that song are my 2 favorite Def Leppard. Maybe Animal, but I would take A&M in that spot. I mean, again, there's part of me that looks at this team, with a little more critical lens where I'm like, man, they lose a lot. But at the same time, I'm going, well, okay, let's do the same thing to the teams from, 7 to 12, 6 to 15, that group of 10. I'm sure we could do that to everyone. And I haven't really, like I like to do, which is why I think I don't miss a lot on these teams that I think are overrated. I haven't really dove into that yet this year, but there will be some in that range, And the question is, will A&M be one of them? And I think that will depend. I do agree with the O-line sentiment, but I also think it'll depend on that defensive front as well. I think there's a real test there. They lost the SEC Defensive Player of the Year, and then I think in Regis and on Yedem, and then you had like Deion Hayes. I think they lost a lot up front. Torian York was a quality player for A&M for 3 years, particularly the last couple. So yeah, I mean they lost a lot in that defensive front, and were far from airtight against the run last year as well. So I think on that coaching side, they need to figure out why that was and make those corrections. And then as far as players go, I think Marco Jones is one of my breakout players. People will jump on that bandwagon later. So we'll let them. But I've been saying that, I think, since last fall. Like this year, I could see him becoming a huge factor on this defense. TJ Searcy's a veteran senior. They added a lot of experience. 3 experienced 300-pounders. I think Rink and Sanders are set to go from getting their feet wet to being key contributors. So there's a lot to be excited about on the inside. And, I think the 2 guys that added, Saka and Henderson at end, will really add to what they've got. So, oh man, look, there's a lot to love about what's sitting there on the D line, but there's also a lot to replace. And again, I think they have to be better. Maybe not in terms of sacks, the team sack total, and maybe they won't have a Cassius Howell racking up as many as he did. But as a unit, I think the D line, particularly really the front 7, needs to take another step forward, and they need to do that with losing a lot of guys. If they do that, then yeah, I think this team's a playoff team.
Billy, I'm going to read you the list just so you have it and you can kind of react to that. It has number 1, Miami, 2, Notre Dame, 3, Texas, 4, Indiana, 5, Tech, 6, Georgia, 7, Oregon, 8, Ohio State, 9, LSU, 10, A&M, 11, Memphis, and 12, Michigan.
And this is most likely to reach the playoff.
way too early college football playoff projection for 26.
Oh, they picked the actual team.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought Miami was high, but I guess they're high on Darian Mensah.
You lost me there in your entire countdown, but yeah, Miami with Mensah, and Miami actually returns a lot, even though they might lose 4 first-round picks. Again, to all the people that were so, I understand being distraught over the loss. People that talked about, if it's inexcusable or embarrassing because they only scored, again, when you only score 3, it's rough, and you're going to be kicking yourself a whole offseason. When the other team also has 3 with a minute and a half left, and you're at the 5-yard line to tie it, there's no embarrassment to the loss. But as you keep looking at this Miami team, not to mention how they played, moving forward, but they might have 4 damn first rounders just this year. That doesn't even count any younger ones that they may have. So I mean, it was a tough draw, and you saw the way that game played out, and you could have won it, and that's what makes it hard to get over. But damn, it was a tough one to get out of the rip. And you think about, I guess that was James Madison took their place. So, but just what could have happened so simply for Miami not to have been in that spot, where A&M could have drawn. There was a lot of teams in that field they could have beaten, but you know what? That's why you got to get back there and do it in 2026. And I look around that list of rankings you said, and I don't really argue it. I think Notre Dame will get there, especially with that top 12 rule. I think Miami's the class of the ACC. I don't even know. I mean, I'm not saying they'll run through it because I think they'll get disinterested at some point, just like they did last year. But I think they're by far the class of the ACC. And I feel like Oregon might be a little low there. Texas, I could definitely see Texas winning the SEC. I could see them going 9-3 again on that schedule. If they don't win at home against Ohio State, does anyone, even the people that, the knuckle draggers on Twitter from the Texas fan base that live in a fantasy land, would they even scoff at the possibility of Texas going 6-2 in the SEC on that schedule? They got to go to Kyle Field. They've got to play Tennessee. They've got to go, obviously, play OU. They've got Ole Miss coming to Austin. They've got to go to Baton Rouge. Those are just off the top of my head. Would it be insane for them to drop 2 conference games? Absolutely not. That Ohio State game is massive to start the season.
All right, Billy, let's hit a break. We'll come back. I'm going to ask you about the state of the NCAA here with what happens today. We'll get into that on the next segment here on TexAgs Live. Right now, though, we're talking about our good friends at Rollo Insurance. When insurance matters most, who's going to answer your call? That's the Rollo Insurance Group, right? They're going to answer your call. They're fantastic. They take care of my insurance. They got our car insurance, our homeowners insurance. If we had a ranch, they would do our ranch insurance as well. They're awesome. Morgan's the guy I deal with, but they have everybody in their crew, men and women, by the way, who are fantastic at what they do. They're going to know your situation. They're going to know your name. They're going to give you their cell phone number. It's just going to be like old-time business, right? Like how it used to be in the 80s, that's how it's going to be. They have all the best resources and options for you, and they want to make sure that you are educated on everything you're shopping for. They'll do the shopping for you, actually, so you can get the right insurance situation for you and your family. Call them up or visit the website. RolloInsurance.com/TexAgs. That's RolloInsurance.com/TexAgs. So call them up, 888-44-ROLLO. That is 888-44-ROLLO.
Let's go back to the Bubby's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Billy, after the show, maybe not right after, but I do want to share a little story with you that I'm not going to share on air because it just came up during the break, but just something to make you laugh later, okay?
Oh, good. Well, I'll be looking forward to that call as I drive. A lot of driving today from, and then we will be ready for some hoops. Maybe a little breakfast tomorrow at the Broken Egg, a maybe a little workout, and maybe a little watch some basketball. Maybe go to Bluebell Park, see a little baseball, and then headed over to dinner, and then Reed Arena.
Billy,
Saturday.
A lot of maybes there, but it sounds like a fun, busy day.
Hey, before we go on, we have to run over a minute. I'm going to post, on the site later today. You weren't on the show Monday when I was talking to. You weren't on Monday. I was talking to Nick, but at the time I was, respecting privacy but talking about my good friend that was in a struggle for his life right now, and just I've been spending a couple days with him here lately, reminiscing old time. He's in great spirits, but we're just talking about everything, and a lot of Aggies have been to see him, and now they've got a GoFundMe set up for him, and a lot of people we've posted these over the years to help Aggies, and this one in particular means as much to me as any. Like it's means the world to me for Greg Smith and his wife and son Brody, wife Leslie. Like they're going through now. So any Aggies willing to help, it would mean the world to them, I know. And look, this is someone that worked in A&M athletics forever and is a dear friend to many, an all-time character, loves Aggie baseball as much as anyone. I know myself and Kendall Rogers can attribute a lot of where we're at today to Greg's help at the very beginning. I said the other day about me, kind of went into that story, but it's also, I think Kendall would say the same thing. So for everybody that enjoys this stuff, Greg was this guy before either one of us were doing anything on any kind of scale to help out. And that's kind of Aggie he is. But I'm telling you, an all-time character. A lot of you listening know him and know him well. But I told him the other day, we could have made a lot of money, Nuño, at TexAgs. Barstool and Portnoy, I feel like kind of thing of the game watching and just all the buddies watching. We used to do that in Greg's garage for like Monday Night Wrestling in the 90s when it was like WCW versus WWE. And then we were also for big football games, college and pro, had like 3K. It almost looked like the exact setup that Barstool uses today, but we could have made a lot of money if I just have Greg Smith watching old games from 5, 10, 20 years ago, whether it's A&M or it could be the Pirates Braves, and he would just blow a gasket today watching Jim Leland, I think it was still Leland, send Sid Bream home to try to score there when Atlanta ended up winning the series at home plate. Like, those things would still, just to watch someone get that fired up and angry and riled up over games from yesteryear, particularly Aggie sports, like just to have him watch like the 89 Ben McDonald regional right now today would be like, I think it would go absolutely viral. So we definitely missed an opportunity there. That's for sure.
I found his GoFundMe page. You're going to post it on the site today, Billy?
Yeah, I'll probably have Richard do it early. So I'll be traveling, and I'll kind of go in and post some words later. But yeah, I'll probably do that here today. So yeah, like I said, any and everything would help. And I know a ton of you guys listening know Greg. If you're ever leaving Olsen Field, back when it was Olsen Field, before the Bluebell Park days, like way back when, you were leaving there, and that beer tree over there in right field by where the visiting buses were. That was always a party.
Prayers for Greg, Leslie, and Brody, and Billy will post that, or Richard will post that here on the website. To transition, it's hard to transition from that, but right now Bediako is in court. They just somebody posted a video of him walking in there, and I wrote this down. Is today potentially like the death, if you will, potentially? I don't think it will be, but of the organizing body that is the NCAA, at least when it comes to their gatekeeping with eligibility.
I don't think they've done much gatekeeping. I mean, why wasn't Diego Pavia the death of it? Why wasn't the guy that's playing for Baylor? Why won't Aguiar? I was actually talking.
I think that Bediako's a different case, though.
Now it is, but I'm just saying, like one after another.
Mm-hmm.
Bediako's definitely different, because it's like, what are you going to start having NBA guys in? I just think the most simple way is to start. I still think, I don't know who was saying this. I wanted to give credit to who said it, but I agree. I think it was a coach that said it. Like, you can still determine who plays in your tournament. And why can't the NCAA say, hey, if you play him, those games don't count. So don't come crying to us when we don't select you for our tournament. And you can try to sue your way into the tournament. Good luck with that, too. I just think the NCAA or somebody, next governing body, whatever, the most obvious rule is to say if you voluntarily give up your eligibility to turn professional and you surrender that eligibility willingly, you can't come back. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. It's final. Try and make them sign something and say, I am giving up any ability or claim to return with this signature. Something like, just make it to where that to me seems like this, whenever this thing settles and gets situated, just that's that. But yeah, the other part of it would be I'd love to see some of these things be left out of certain postseasons. Say no, we don't view you as playing by our rules. You sued your way into getting to play the guy, but you also sued your way out of our postseason. And I realize nothing is as simple as that, especially now, but that would be my thought on it. And then, it's just crazy to me that go look up when Aguiar at Tennessee, who's, trying to play, and I'm willing to bet going to be able to play this year. It's a big deal for A&M because the difference between him and someone that's never played before is massive for that football team. I mean, that's a difference that, like, people in Knoxville, if Tennessee starts a really inexperienced guy and goes like 7-5 this year, people in Knoxville are going to start getting frustrated with Josh Heupel. It's that big a deal. With Aguiar, they could be a 10-2 playoff team, perhaps. I mean, I who knows? But I mean, that's certainly not out of the question. I haven't looked at their schedule, but go look at when he graduated high school. Maybe have someone pull that up. Who's back there? Nick?
Nygren's right next to me. He's looking it up.
Nygren, have Reese look up when Aguiar graduated high school, what recruiting class he was in versus Marcel Reed.
Joey Aguilar graduated high school in 2019.
And when did Marcel Reed?
22, right? I believe he's 22.
I believe so.
Yeah. Yeah, he'd be 22.
He was 2023, Mr.
So,
2023. Sorry.
So 23, yeah, because he was the last year under Jimbo. He was essentially redshirting. So 2023, right? Think about that. 2023, and one was 2019, and they're essentially one year apart in classification. It's crazy. Aguiar's like an adult. He's, like you said, he's older than X number of quarterbacks in the NFL. He will be this year coming up and playing college football. It's insane. Imagine like a team that has to start a freshman that graduated high school in 2026 going up against a guy in Aggie that graduated in 2019. It's absurd. It's stupid. It's insane.
Billy, and we probably have to hit a break here, but I'm kidding, but I'm not kidding in the fact that if Bediako is allowed to play, A&M, and this won't happen, but could call Myles Garrett, who just won Defensive Player of the Year, and like, hey, we could use you next year because you can come back.
Well, you're right, but they're not going to. Myles would have to take, I think, maybe a kind of a slight pay cut. There are other guys like I don't know,
Johnny?
Luke maybe tweeted. I think it was. I think Luke tweeted like Quentin Jackson, right? Like, or somebody like. Imagine bringing Quentin Jackson back. How much would the NIL pony up to get him back for one more year and play Bucky ball? You know, but I mean, some of these guys that are like just hanging on in the league or something, or like you said, the G League or MLB, you know, they're like AA, but don't feel like they're getting there and they're not making a bunch of money and come back and make $1 million. You know, like it opens up such a Pandora's box is already open. They opened it. They smashed it. You know, they say, well, you can't put the genie back in the bottle of Pandora's box. They didn't just open those and let the genie out. They took them and took a hammer and mallet to them and just shattered them. There's no more box. There's no more bottle. There's nothing you can do to fix this, in my opinion. I've been saying that for at least 3 years now.
Yeah. All right, we'll hit a break. We'll finish up with Billy Liucci here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
Final segment of the program, TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Billy Liucci still on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Billy, Super Bowl, do you care?
Yeah, I care. I always care. I mean, I'm not emotionally invested in it, but there's some cool storylines, you know, the Patriots trying to get it back. You know, the first post-Brady Belichick championship, and Drake May, just one of the rising stars in professional sports in terms of just being so young and accomplishing so much already. But I heard y'all earlier. Yeah, I would have rather Matt Stafford versus Josh Allen won myself, but that Sam Darnold story is pretty incredible. And really, the Seahawks have been outstanding all year. I mean, they're really damn good. So I think they're going to win. I think it's going to be a hell of a game, though. And if Mike, you know, the idea of Mike Vrabel getting fired from Tennessee, who has sucked ever since, and winning a Super Bowl in year one would be pretty amazing as well. So there's plenty of story there. So I'm looking forward to it, and looking forward to seeing my girl Kaylee on the sidelines of that one. Great moment for her. You know, I've been close with Kaylee since, I think right when she started at Longhorn Network, if not even before that. Talked to her every move she's made up the ladder to SEC, to, you know, ESPN, to Good Morning America, Amazon, Today Show, and now Super Bowl. So it's pretty amazing to watch. I'm proud of her. So I'm looking forward to watching the games this weekend, or the game, not the games. I'm very pissed right now because I'm not involved in any squares. I keep telling the fine folks at the country club that I go to add me to their damn email list since I pay. I'm not on there, so I missed out on those type of things. And that is a direct message at Weird Beard himself. I know he's listening right now. It's a shot at Weird Beard and the backwards hand. Those two are the bane of my existence. So anyway, you didn't even ask me about a new defense backs hire.
You're right. BGA, I'm sorry. Well, we'll go long. I was hoping to go long.
Oh, okay. We can go long. Speaking of, going back into the Super Bowl, and I think I would have loved to see the Josh Allen, Matt Stafford one. That would have been awesome. The back-to-back. I think the back-to-back MVPs. Allen won it last year, right? It wasn't the year before. And then it would have been Matt Stafford looking to cement his Hall of Fame legacy, which to me probably should have last night with that MVP award, and then Allen looking to maybe put his stamp on a Hall of Fame career. You know, you just wonder if he's going to be one of those guys that you're going to have to argue he did all this but never won a Super Bowl.
Billy, we got to do this.
So far, hadn't even gotten to one, by the way.
We got to do this. Because you're on the phone, we're going to drop you, and we're going to send you a link so we can talk BGA on overtime. All right. That's Billy Liucci on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. All right. That's going to do it for TexAgs Live on a Friday. Super Bowl React on Monday. Florida game React on Monday. What else? Softball React on Monday to Texas Tech and the rest of the weekend. Anything else we're going to react to?
Closer to baseball season.
Oh, yeah. Michael Early will be on the program on Monday.
There we go.
Ryan Broniger may show up to work on Monday. We'll get Bronny. I'm kidding, Bronny. You've got big things at home. Yep. So happy for you guys. What else? And we'll probably be proactive about something. We're not just going to react.
Probably.
We're going to...
Well, Bediako's announcement will be made by then.
We hope.
Hopefully.
Unless it gets delayed or something happens.
Let him play against Auburn.
Bediako.
Bediako.
Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening. We'll see you on Monday.